7th. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. Spirit of Ukraine. That's one of the pavilions at Folklorama this year, every year. And our Daniel Halmerson is there. Every year they have a theme, and this year is focusing on the heritage, specifically when it comes to weddings. So if you've never been to a Ukrainian wedding and want to know, I have a feeling that their pavilion is going to tell you. First, here's a look at your headlines. Tornado warnings and golf ball-sized hail. The prairie sky turned wild on Wednesday. What we know about the storm that swept through Manitoba. A home care shakeup, but is it helping or hurting? Why nurses say it's creating more problems than solutions. And it started as a fun NHL video shoot, and then shoot. A grizzly bear showed up. The wild moment that was caught on camera. Ooh. Oh, wow. I didn't get to see that quick. I'm sure I'll see it later in the show.
And it wasn't until you said the grizzly bear showed up that I realized, oh, that wasn't part of the original shoot. I just thought that, you know, maybe that was a part of the shot.
Outside, lots of warnings. People's phones
goodness.
Going off.
Yeah, yesterday evening was something else. You're right. All sorts of spectacular weather. You've got the whole breakdown of that coming up in the news. All I can tell you is that has all passed, and now it's a beautiful start to your morning. Sky is clear, 16 degrees, and winds out of the west-northwest, 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 94%. So yes, all of that activity yesterday, and like I said, the breakdown of that will come. But now we're waking up to calm, clear conditions. Unfortunately, though, the smoke lingers through northern and now much of central Manitoba. You remember it was just over on the east central side. Now west central Manitoba also included in that heavy smoke warning. It's still on the clearer side here through southern Manitoba, and not just with the smoke, but with the sky as well. I was stargazing on my way into work this morning because that sun is coming up so much later now. 6:07 is official sunrise, so we're not even there yet, but it will be up and it will be throwing a whole lot of heat our way. There you can see on the Futurecast, we've got clear conditions to kick things off. Just a little bit of lingering trickle activity left over from what was moving through yesterday. So parts of the north and east are just seeing the ends of that, kind of a little bit more of a wraparound. You might see that hanging around through the day. Then here tonight, look at this. This is going to be evening time, and southwestern Manitoba expect to see some what looks like pretty angry looking storms. That'll be rolling through overnight, so we have that chance of showers or thunderstorms overnight, and then still throughout the day Friday, things are going to be a little more active once again. As far as today, it's going to be hot, don't get me wrong, but we're probably not going to be seeing much other than sunshine and a few clouds building up into the afternoon. And then storms overnight and through tomorrow, back to the sunshine, seasonal temperatures through the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. The emergency alert system was activated on some mobile phones across the region late Wednesday afternoon as a tornado-producing storm made its way through the province during the evening. Environment Canada says that it's received several reports of funnel clouds and golf ball-sized hail as the storm tracked near Dugald. Tornado warnings were issued in several municipalities on Wednesday, including the rural municipalities of Rockwood, St. Andrews, St. Clements, West and East St. Paul, along with the RM of Springfield. There were reports of up to golf ball-sized hail falling in Stonewall. Amateur storm chaser Corey Penner took this photo, saying that he saw the tornado touch down. He adds it only touched down for a couple of seconds, and there was likely a little damage. Penner found himself in the storm while returning from chasing another storm in Saskatchewan.
It was tough to get to because the roads were really wet and muddy, but we got there. First we saw a wispy little tornado, then I saw another wispy tornado come down, very brief, and then we stopped, set up the real camera, and then that's where we got that nice thick tornado, which only lasted a couple seconds, and then it was done.
As of this morning, there were no storm-related watches or warnings in effect in Manitoba. Changes to home care services in Winnipeg were meant to improve client care, but Manitoba's Nurses Union says it's done just the opposite, creating a mess for both clients and nurses. CTV's Danton Unger shows you why.
Eric DeShepper is still waiting for improvements to the home care system in Winnipeg, a system he says failed the love of his life.
I see the same systemic failures being repeated.
In February 2023, his partner Catherine Ellis died while battling stage 4 cancer. She had been waiting weeks for home care that only arrived days after her death. A 2023 review of her case found breakdowns in communication, policy, and procedure and highlighted gaps in the system that led to delays. Since then, DeShepper has been advocating for improvements, but so far, he says, little has been done.
What I would like to see, personally, is a collective and collaborative effort to resolve these systemic issues that have been plaguing the home and healthcare system for over a decade.
The Winnipeg Regional Health Authority tells CTV News earlier this year it implemented a key recommendation from the review, centralizing home care scheduling into one office. It says this changes to better align with the 24/7 operation of services and ensure continuity of care for clients. But the Manitoba Nurses Union says it's caused chaos.
We are in a mess. Clients are not receiving care. Families are upset, clients are upset, nurses are upset, and we need to get this sorted.
Union President Darlene Jackson says the change was made without consultation with frontline workers and is leading to a breakdown in communication between schedulers, home care workers, and clients.
We're seeing a lot of clients that are having, visits dropped, or there's no shows and they have no idea why.
In a statement to CTV News, the WRHA says while the implementation of the new scheduling system has faced some challenges, we are fully committed to improving the program and delivering the care that clients and their families, as well as staff, deserve. But for DeShepper, disappointed with the current system, he's written a letter to Manitoba's Health Minister, Yuzo Mazaguera, urging them to take action.
I hope that this time my plea will be taken seriously.
A WRHA spokesperson tells CTV News 32 new scheduling clerks have been brought on, along with more staff and management resources. They added that the health authority is reviewing and updating processes and procedures that are not working for staff and clients. And they say that they're using overtime and agency staff to cover visits where required. A move by Canada Post is upsetting some people in rural Ontario.
To save time or money, I'm not sure, but it's not doing the workers nor the corporation any good.
David Carrier is one of the many residents who received a letter from Canada Post indicating delivery agents would no longer raise the flag on mailboxes when mail is delivered. It's a signal that's been used for decades, but the Crown Corporation says it was never being used properly. It writes in a statement that the flag is not meant to inform customers mail is in the mailbox, but says the flag was eventually intended as a way to let the carrier know there was outgoing mail. The NHL season is still 2 months away, but for one player and a mascot, the off-season has been pretty adventurous.
Right there.
Oh, I gotta break you off now.
Okay.
Hey, Sam, we got a bear. We gotta move down.
A close call for Seattle Kraken forward John Hayden and the team's blue-haired troll mascot, who were chased by a very real grizzly bear during a video promo shoot in Alaska. They made it out in one piece, but just barely. A couple more big names have been added to the Comic-Con celebrity list, and here's who you'll see at the pop culture exhibition slated for October here in Winnipeg.
Still not sure what I am. I'm just living my life, day to day.
Comic-Con's guest list now includes 2 characters from Marvel's popular Luke Cage series, Mike Coulter, who plays Cage, and Theo Rossi, aka Shades. Coulter is also known for his big screen roles in A $1 Million Baby and Men in Black 3. Coulter and Rossi will join actors Lou Diamond, Phillips, and Ron Perlman. Winnipeg Comic-Con attendees dress up as their favorite sci-fi or fantasy characters. Comic-Con runs October 24th to 26th at the RBC Convention Center. For tickets, visit comicconwinnipeg.com. Our first look at traffic here at Confusion Corner at 6:08. No stalls or delays on your Thursday morning. Joining us for the very first time is Daniel Halmerson. Good morning, Danny, from Folklorama, Spirit of Ukraine. And I can see some spirited action behind you.
Yeah, absolutely, Ainsley. It's already getting underway. It's just after 6 o'clock. But these dancers are ready to go. Throughout the morning, we're going to learn about this year's theme, Zohania, which is celebrates and looks into some of the old customs and traditions surrounding marriage and courtship in Ukraine. Of course, we're going to hopefully try out some delicious Ukrainian food. We're going to sneak peek at a doll-making demonstration that they're doing at the pavilion here this year. And, of course, we'll see more dancing as we move through the morning. So we're here at Soul Sanctuary on Chevrier Boulevard, and we hope you can join us throughout the morning.
That looks like a lot of fun. Daniel, thank you so much. I want to go to a Ukrainian wedding now. Okay, we've got a video. Every generation has their slang that's unique to them, and Gen Alpha is no different.
Sigma.
Bad.
Skibbity.
Delusional.
Delulu.
Romantic.
Riz.
Not true.
Cap.
The greatest ever.
Terry, I've heard you try and use some of these words. How'd they come up with them?
How do they come up with them?
Well, Dad's trying to learn daughter's language while teaching all of us in the process. No cap, we need more Riz to understand this sus speak.
Yeah, like, I think I'm gonna need to sit down with this video and like make notes, because every now and then, you know, I'll do this stuff in front of my kid and he's like, he just rolls his eyes. But then, like, lately, and maybe because I've talked about it on the show, he like adamantly will not tell me the meanings of these things. He's like, I'm not gonna tell you, you're gonna start to use it. I'm like, well, obviously. I gotta be cool.
Well, you don't want to say the wrong thing either.
Yeah, fair enough, exactly.
How's it feel?
So it feels fine. It feels great out here. In fact, there's a little bit of a breeze. It's a little bit cool. I do want to show you this. Check that out. That's from yesterday. Where's the numbers? There they are. And if I could hold it steady, about 15 millimeters of rain from our little rooftop rain gauge here. So that's an impressive bit of rain that fell. We talked in the news about just how spectacular the weather was last night. Saw all sorts of activity. Now, as far as today goes, we could still see some more of that activity developing. Not necessarily as active through the daytime, but it will be more so into the evening in southwestern Manitoba. You're the ones to be keeping an eye out for sure. Right now, we're waking up to gorgeous conditions, and most of the day will play out on the calmer side until this evening when we could be seeing those storms picking up, but that'll be after a hot and humid day. We're talking 29 degrees as far as where the temperatures go today, so it will be a warm one with plenty of sunshine to kick us off, a few more clouds building up through the day, and then that potential for the storm activity by evening and overnight. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Good morning. It's 6:15. The Manitoba Métis Federation is turning down the Prime Minister's invitation to discuss his controversial major projects legislation, Bill C-5. The MMF says that it won't attend the meeting alongside another Métis group it claims has no reason to exist.
Respect my government as you're asking me to respect yours. Trust my government as you're asking me to trust yours.
MMF President David Chartrand said that Mark Carney's decision to invite the Métis Nation of Ontario to Thursday's meeting undermines the integrity of the gathering. Other Métis groups and First Nations say that the communities represented by the MNO have no claim to Métis heritage.
To the Prime Minister, the door is open. If you want to come and sit down with my cabinet and a government-to-government relationship, we will meet. But if you want to insult us, then we'll see each other in a different political realm in the future.
No has defended itself in the past, saying Métis don't exist only in the Red River region. For his part, Chartrand says that he does support Bill C-5, describing it as a way to counter the economic threats posed by the United States. Now to the trade negotiations with the U.S. and the best way to move things forward. The Prime Minister was back in Ottawa strategizing next steps while Team Canada is starting to show some cracks. Here's CTV's Mike LeCouture with the latest.
Prime Minister was tight-lipped ahead of a virtual meeting with premiers to talk about trade negotiations with the United States. But after it, Ontario's Doug Ford wasn't holding back.
I'm praying that everything's going to go fine. But if it doesn't, I got to ask the people, do you trust President Trump? I don't.
He believes the renegotiation of CUSMA could start this fall and could be difficult. Ford says his fellow premiers are all worried about their major industries. He also wants other federal action.
What we can control is making sure we lower taxes, not being one of the highest taxed jurisdictions anywhere, the highest rate of 54%. Let's lower corporate taxes until we can attract businesses and jobs and opportunities.
While Ford has called for stronger counter tariffs on U.S. products, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe has said Canada needs to remove or reduce our counter tariffs that hurt businesses on this side of the border. Some feel like this countrywide resolve is being tested.
As this has dragged on with no obvious resolution in sight, some of that determination is flagging a bit.
In an interview with CTV News on Tuesday, the U.S. ambassador to Canada cautioned that trade talks could be slow over the next weeks as U.S. President Donald Trump focuses on a deal with China. And that's why some trade experts believe Canada should refrain from retaliating.
I do think we have to hold something like a retaliation as a threat in case Trump does decide to hit us with something else.
One example of that unpredictability, President Trump announced an additional 25% tariff on goods from India because that country is importing Russian oil. And he said he could do the same to China.
U.S. President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs on more than 90 countries are now in effect. Trump sharing this overnight, quote, "It's midnight. Billions of dollars in tariffs are now flowing into the United States of America." Before today, many countries' goods were subject to a minimum 10% tariff. The highest rate is imposed on goods from Brazil at 50%. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mark Carney shared his own message on social media before the sweeping tariffs took effect. Quote, "He spoke with premiers today as the work towards a new trade agreement with the United States. We're staying focused on building our industrial strength at home. Canada remains at 35% imposed tariffs."
Why are you singling India out for these additional sanctions?
It's only been 8 hours, so let's see what happens over the next.
Sanctions.
You're going to see a lot more.
So this is a taste of.
You're going to see a lot more. You're going to see so much secondary sanctions. Yes, ma'am.
Trump hit India with an additional 25% tariff. The new measure pushes tariffs on some Indian goods to as high as 50%. It's set to take effect in August 27th unless India stops buying Russian oil. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are off to Calgary for the weekend, hoping for a second win in a row after a bit of a losing skid. And the team will take the field with starting quarterback Zach Caleros.
Looking to throw again. Far side intercepted. It's taken away.
The Bombers have had some tough luck against the Stampeders this year. They've lost to Calgary twice already. The Stamps are the third in the CFL's West Division. Winnipeg is fourth. After missing a game, Calgary's #1 quarterback, Vernon Adams Jr., will be taking the field. Bombers head coach Mike O'Shea says Adams is a tough guy to put pressure on.
Vernon's probably more elusive, more athletic, right? He has certainly looking to make plays downfield also, like most good quarterbacks are, but he just seems to, his escapability is top notch. His understanding of where the defenders are coming from and how to elude them and keep the ball moving downfield is elite.
Saturday's kickoff in Calgary is at 6 o'clock. Police were led on a wild goose chase like no other involving a 5-foot-long lizard named Goose. The water monitor lizard slipped out of his owner's window in Massachusetts last month and vanished into the forest. Police have been trying to track him down for weeks when he was finally spotted in the roots of a tree, his tongue sticking right out. Goose is safe and sound, but is now in the care of a reptile sanctuary as his owner didn't have the proper permit. Taking a look now at the traffic situation along the Norwood Bridge. Looks like a smooth drive. Any traffic tips or updates, send them to us. CTV Morning WPG on X.
Meet my dog named Duck. All right, looking outside right now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for over 40 years. That's a gorgeous start to the morning. Looking outside, I was kind of captivated by just how beautiful it looked. And honestly, on my way into work this morning, I was doing some stargazing out there. Very clear conditions. And that's all after that activity from last night where those massive storms were rolling through so much of the province. So now things very clear, very calm, but it is going to be a warm one for us. We're starting out at 15 degrees. That's only a slightly above seasonal. 13, that would be a normal low. So just a couple degrees above that here in Winnipeg and in Pinawa. Some places are a few more above that, though. We've got 18 degrees right now in the Morden, Winkler, Sprague area, 19 in Kenora. And then you can see it's just slightly cooler over here through southwestern Manitoba, a seasonal 13 in Melita, and even cooler yet Brandon coming in at 11 degrees. For northern Manitoba, it's still a warm start for you in these mid to almost high teens that we're seeing through the area. And once again, not just the warmth, but the smoke is going to be a factor all through northern Manitoba and now west and east central Manitoba are also under that heavy smoke warning. Visibility and clearer conditions here in the south, no issues there, but Environment Canada is warning that we may notice some of that smoke increasing through the day today. Also to be increasing will be some clouds. There's not much to show you at this time, but the clouds will be building up and the potential for some storms is there for later on into the day, more so into the evening overnight. Here's a look at how the temperatures will be climbing through the day. 26 degrees is normal. We'll likely be there by noontime, climbing up then into the high 20s or low to mid 20s across much of northern Manitoba. I mentioned that possibility of storms by evening time. So showers, thunderstorms, evening, overnight, and into tomorrow. And then it will settle down somewhat as we continue through the weekend. Another spectacular shot of that storm passing through last night. This one from the Hazel Ridge area. Thanks to Luca for this. And keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. And we'll be back right after this break.
A British Columbia woman is one of the first ever Canadians to benefit from a remarkable and unusual surgery to restore vision. It involves transplanting one of the patient's teeth into their damaged eye. As CTV's Andrew Johnson shows us, the results are a sight to behold. And a warning, this story does contain graphic visuals.
It's fantastic. Oh. It's a miracle.
Gail Lane hadn't laid eyes on Vancouver's False Creek or anything else in more than a decade.
The closer part down here is very, very sharp and clear.
Until the highly specialized two-part surgery that has restored her sight.
It's exciting. It's, I just felt full of gratitude.
Lane went blind because of an autoimmune disorder. Now she is one of the first in Canada to benefit from what's called tooth-in-eye surgery, and it's aptly named. Earlier this year, surgeons removed one of Lane's teeth, glued a lens inside of it, then sewed it into her cheek, where it grew connective tissue for several months before surgery number 2.
We make a small hole in the front of the eye, remove the lens, the iris, the anterior contents of the eyeball. Then into that hole, we put the tooth with the telescope and we stitch it into place on the front of the eye.
At first, Lane thought that sounded like something out of science fiction. Now she knows otherwise. Her vision began to gradually improve.
I'm starting to be able to see people's features, facial features.
Including one face she'd never seen before. Her partner's.
He still hasn't seen me, and I had never seen him when we met. We were both blind.
And the dog she can now take for a walk.
I could see his tail wagging first, and then his whole body eventually.
The surgeon who has now helped Gail and 2 others to see again is also grateful for the experience.
It's one of the best feelings in medicine that you can have as a surgeon.
Dr. Maloney says he's found 3 more suitable candidates for the tooth-in-eye procedure as part of a pilot project he hopes will eventually receive regular funding.
Wow.
And more Canadians can experience this. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Wow. Customs and Ukrainian traditions. We're learning all about it coming up at 6:38. Stick with us.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Here's a look outside again, how gorgeous it is starting to look, especially now that the sun is probably starting to make its way above the buildings in the downtown area. It was a little late to rise this morning at 6:07, but it sure is looking good now. 15 degrees, west winds are 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 97%. Yeah, gorgeous and clear. Everything is settled down after last night's activity, but we could be seeing more of that activity again later on into the evening time. First, though, let's talk about the smoke, still very prevalent through northern Manitoba, west and east central Manitoba, still dealing with that heavy smoke as well. I shouldn't say still dealing in the east central side, but warnings have been reissued now through west central Manitoba. And Environment Canada is even warning here in the south that we may notice that smoke increasing through the day. Also, to see some clouds increasing through the day, and that'll be ahead of the activity that I've been kind of teasing about tonight. So while it's looking very clear right now, It will probably stay that way here on the southeastern side. Southwestern Manitoba, by evening time, you're going to start to see some what are looking right now to be some fairly angry looking storms according to our futurecast. So do brace yourself for more activity into the evening time. Sometimes when we're dealing with these hot temperatures, that's pretty typical to then see those storms. Here in the southeast, it might take until overnight hours before we're really seeing that passing through. The chance of showers, thunderstorms dropping down to 18, and then still with that activity continuing tomorrow. Seasonal temps, though, at a high of 26 degrees. Settles down a little more for the weekend. Mid-20 temperatures, plenty of sunshine, and that'll carry us right through the middle of next week.
Thanks, Terry. A Winnipeg family is making a big contribution to support thousands of northern Manitoba wildfire evacuees. The Asper Foundation is making a donation to MKO of the $25,000 per week. MKO is helping to collect and distribute aid to the more than 19,000 evacuees registered with the Canadian Red Cross. 3,000 more evacuees are expected in Winnipeg in the coming days. MKO says that many people were forced to leave with no time to prepare, arriving without baby supplies, hygiene products, or even proper clothing. So Wednesday's announcement from the Asper Foundation is welcome news. MKO hopes the donation will inspire others to follow suit. There's an urgent need for non-perishable food items, baby formula, diapers, strollers, and carriers, new underclothing and the hygiene products, along with blankets and toys and entertainment for children. Donations can be coordinated through MKO and its partner organizations. A Michigan congressman is calling on Canadian leaders to do more to address wildfire smoke blowing southwards into his state. Representative John James, a Republican from Michigan, recently wrote to Prime Minister Mark Carney asking leaders in our country to take action to contain the wildfire crisis. Representative James specifically cited the smoke from Manitoba's wildfires, saying it's threatening the health of his constituents and millions of other Americans. He added Canadian sovereignty comes with responsibility and said, quote, Canadians should not be surprised if American leaders begin treating Canadian sovereignty concerns with the same seriousness Canadian leaders show toward American security and health concerns. In response, our premier accused Representative James of attention seeking.
Who can't get any attention on his own, so he's got to go in public and throw a timber tantrum, as we're calling it around here. So on the one hand, try not to take it too seriously, but on the other hand, you know, let's be realistic. Tens of thousands of people have been forced out of their homes. Lives have been lost. Huge impacts here. This is not the kind of thing you should be playing around with.
CTV News has contacted Representative James's office for a response. We're still waiting to hear back. Major turbulence looms for thousands of Air Canada passengers if a new contract is not reached in 9 days with its flight attendants. The union, representing 10,000 workers, says it has an overwhelming strike date from its members. CTV's Judy Trin with a look at how the issues will have festered for a decade.
Abraham has booked a flight to Slovenia for a bike tour. He's scheduled to take off just as Air Canada's flight attendants are poised to strike.
Even if I was to actually try to rebook it now with either with Air Canada or with a competitor, say a European airline, the price would be at least 3 times as much.
Air Canada's 10-year contract with its 10,000 flight attendants is expiring. The union says flight attendants average 35 hours of unpaid work each month.
We're not paid anytime the aircraft is not in motion. So any of the pre-flight checks, mandatory safety briefings, all the required stuff that is done on the ground prior to pushback, as well as the deplaning process.
Being paid for your hours on the job, that I think is a no-brainer. I can't possibly understand why a company wouldn't do that.
Last year, Air Canada generated operating revenues of more than $22 billion. Thousands of passengers could be impacted if a deal is not reached by August 16th.
This will be a test for the Carney government to see whether they have the intestinal fortitude to let labor relations work its way through this process.
Passenger rights advocates say customers should not take action in advance.
If Air Canada cannot provide you with an alternate transportation on its own or partner airlines that departs within 48 hours of your original departure time, they have to buy you a ticket on a competitor. So by you buying a ticket in advance, you are letting Air Canada get off the hook.
In a statement, Air Canada says it's determined to reach a fair and equitable contract with its flight attendants. Both sides return to the bargaining table on Friday.
Girl Guides of Canada is halting all trips to the U.S. starting this September. The organization says that the decision was made to ensure the safety and inclusion of all members, especially those who aren't Canadian citizens and may face challenges at the border. The suspension applies to all trips, including those that were already approved. Major League Baseball has announced that this weekend, for the first time ever, a woman will work as an umpire in a regular season game.
This one chopped foul, and that one is called by the third base umpire, Jen Powell.
That was Jen Powell making the call in a preseason game. She'll be working at the bases during Saturday's doubleheader between Miami and Atlanta. The 48-year-old will be behind the plate for Sunday's game. Taking a look at the current traffic situation along McPhillips Street, volumes are certainly picking up on your Thursday rush hour. Taking a look at your gas prices now. The Canadian average stands at $1.37. The provincial and Winnipeg averages are at $1.35. The lowest price in the city is at $1.27. All this info can be found at gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Live from the Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion is our Daniel Holmerson. Good morning, Danny.
Good morning, Ainsley. Good morning, Winnipeg. We're here at Spirit of Ukraine, learning about some of the traditions in the culture, and I'm joined by Doug Koch, who's the MC of Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning.
So we have a dance, we have some dancers here. Tell me about the importance of storytelling through dance in Ukrainian culture.
Certainly. All of the dancers that you're going to see here are from the Zoloto Ukrainian Dance Ensemble and Company, and each of them play a part in the show each year when we perform for Folklorama. And by playing a specific role in the show, they share a little bit about our Ukrainian culture throughout that.
And each year, the pavilion has a theme around its show. Tell me about this year's theme.
So this year's show is called Kochania. It's a celebration of romantic love, and what you'll see is a story told from beginning to end, starting with the village matchmaker introducing two young children who are dancing together and become good friends throughout their journey, and ultimately sharing some of the other courtship and traditions that are a part of the Ukrainian culture, dating back to over 5,000 years. The beauty of Folklorama is you can do some time travel, and you get to see them later as adults, and fortunately for the guests in the audience, we do have a successful courtship, and there's a Ukrainian wedding celebration with all the tradition that you'll see in a typical celebration.
If you haven't been to a Ukrainian wedding, what's one of the big highlights?
Well, the highlight of the Ukrainian wedding is always the Kolomeyka. That's the final dance of the show, and it's a chance for all of the dancers to get together and kind of perform on an impromptu basis. Generally, the dancers get together in a big circle, and they take turns diving in and trying to show off their stuff so that they can gain attention of the other members of the audience. And it's really full of energy, and the best part is when you get an audience that engages with the dancers and lots of clapping and applause, because then the dancers feed off that energy, and it becomes a circle where the audience feeds off the energy from the stage, and it's just a wonderful part of the performance.
And we are running out of time, but what do you hope the audience takes away from this performance?
We always hope that the audience has a fun and fantastic time, but they also have a chance to learn about our Ukrainian culture and traditions through the storytelling on the stage and through, of course, our cultural displays.
Awesome. Well, coming up, we're going to learn a little bit more about this year's theme out at the cultural displays here at Soul Sanctuary. Ainsley.
Thanks, Danny. Have you been to a Ukrainian wedding?
Yeah, Ainsley, of course. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say it like that. But growing up here on the prairies, if you've been to a wedding, there's a very good chance it was a Ukrainian
I haven't
wedding.
yet. I'm devastated. I'm going to have a Ukrainian wedding.
Well, you were at my wedding, which was technically half a Ukrainian wedding. It just didn't have all of the festivities.
Awesome. How's it feel?
So out here this morning is a pleasant start to the day. The sun is up. It's just not quite risen above the buildings in the downtown area, but it certainly is looking gorgeous and clear out here. Very few clouds and a pleasant start to your day. 15 degrees with winds out of the west. They're just 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 97%. That activity last night, my goodness, kept a lot of people on the toes with all of those watches and warnings regarding the very active weather. There were tornadoes, there were funnel clouds, there was hail, massive size. We've got a breakdown of that coming up in the news. I can show you our rain gauge here on the rooftop. Collected almost 15 millimeters of rain. So yeah, we got a good soaking too. And we could be getting that activity kind of rolling again tonight. Most of the day will play out on the sunnier side and hot too. These temperatures will be on the rise. I'm talking high 20s here through southern Manitoba. And that's that recipe again for the storm activity, which we'll likely see in the southwest first evening time, and then overnight is when that'll be passing through parts of the southeast, including here in Winnipeg, and then continuing through tomorrow. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Looking at the early markets, it's a green morning on Wall Street. Dow futures are up by 253 points. NASDAQ futures are also climbing with a 197-point jump. And the S&P futures are seeing gains too, up by 42 points. The Canadian dollar is seeing a slight dip this morning. Overseas, the Hang Seng is rising by 171 points, while the Japan's Nikkei is surging by 264 points. Good morning. It's 6:45. Mounties have identified a suspect in a fatal shooting in western Manitoba last week and are asking for your help in tracking him down. 52-year-old Frank Laforge is wanted on charges of first-degree murder and attempted murder. He's described as 5 feet 8 inches tall and approximately 150 pounds with a bald head. He's believed to be in the Yellowhead area of Manitoba, but also has connections to the Kamsack and Yorkton areas of Saskatchewan. If you see him, you're asked to call 911. Comes after 2 people were shot at a home on a First Nation southwest of Wasagaming on July 28th. A 33-year-old woman was killed and a 26-year-old man was injured, but has since been released from hospital. In British Columbia, a break in the weather is helping out firefighters trying to protect hundreds of homes on Vancouver Island. But they're far from out of the woods as a new threat is spreading fear online. Here's CTV's Andrew Johnson.
From the air and on the ground, firefighters are throwing everything they've got at what may be the largest wildfire to ever threaten homes on Vancouver Island.
We often think that we're in a rainforest and that it rains all winter, but this speaks otherwise.
They're getting some help in the form of cooler temperatures and a bit of rain, with hundreds of people still out of their homes.
There's a lot more work to do. We are one wind shift away from holy crap.
That work is also being done overnight by crews in night vision-equipped helicopters.
The Overwatch helicopter has a thermal imaging camera, so it sees heat. And on the camera, on the crosshairs, we have a laser. And we fire a laser beam the size of a car. And so it's easy to see under the night vision goggles.
The province is also warning against other emerging tech. AI-generated fire images that look worse than the real thing are circulating online. People are being urged to stick to reliable sources rather than social media.
The message that I have to British Columbians is please be cautious of where you get your information. Be aware of AI-generated content.
Another message being sent in areas under a campfire ban: don't even try it, after conservation officers wrote up $30,000 worth of fines over the long weekend.
We know they try to hide away, and that's where we're getting a lot of these violation tickets, kind of snuck away off the road, and that's the places we're looking for these fires.
But it's not a campfire near the evacuation zone getting the most attention. It's this dog found seemingly left for dead, chained to a tree and very thirsty.
Somebody has to be pretty desperate, right? I mean, or in bad mental health, or an evil person, or there's no reason that anyone needs to do this.
The woman who discovered the dog got a hold of the SPCA, who say the 2-year-old is doing well and is very friendly. No sign of the owner or any indication why the dog was left behind. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
A meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin appears to be in the works. A Kremlin aide has said that the two will meet in the coming days. The news comes as Trump's deadline for Russia to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine is set to expire on Friday. The possible meeting between Trump and Putin would also follow talks between U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and the Russian president on Wednesday. Trump has said that he plans to meet with both his Russian and Ukrainian counterparts to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. Banff is making it easier for tourists to get that perfect selfie by moving its sign.
Visitors can come to Banff and they can do more than just take a selfie while they run back in their car that's parked illegally on the Norquoy Road. Instead, they can stop, they can gather, they can get a cup of coffee or a hot chocolate for the kids.
The 2-meter-high sign that simply reads Banff was installed in 2017 at one of the 2 entrances into Banff National Park, making it difficult and dangerous for those trying to snap a photo. The new location will be in front of the historic Banff train station with Mount Norquay in the background, next to a free parking lot. It's set to be moved and open to the public in October. The incredible run for Canada's Victoria Mboko at her home tournament continues.
Congratulations, and you're going to the final.
The 18-year-old sensation fought off a match point and knocked off Helena Rubachina yesterday, advancing her to the National Bank Open final tonight in Montreal. She's looking to become the first Canadian to win the event since Bianca Andreescu in 2019. Mboko is tough again tonight in the final, facing 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka. Taking a look at the current traffic situation around Portage Avenue, no stalls or crashes to let you know about right now.
Yeah, it's looking good the way the sun is rising over the city now. 15 degrees, west winds, 10 clicks, the pressure falling, and the humidity sitting at 97%. Sun has been coming up a little bit later. I was talking about how 6:07 was official sunrise, but I captured a really pretty shot of that and then my rain gauge. So you can find that on my Instagram. Honestly, it is so beautiful outside, and we've been showing you a couple of camera views and the way the city is glowing this morning, and there's just a calmness to it all. And that's coming off of all of that incredible activity yesterday evening, which we'll be covering more of in the news regarding the storms that passed on through. But again today, the potential for seeing some storms. Once again, it'll be into the evening overnight. For today, dayside, it's the smoke. Northern central Manitoba, not just east central Manitoba, but now west central Manitoba is dealing with some smoky conditions. Still on the clearer side here in the south, and not just clear of smoke, clear of clouds as well. It's beautiful and sunny out there, but it's going to be a warm day today. For northern Manitoba, you might be seeing a little bit of lingering activity as far as precipitation goes here in the northeastern part of the province, and some cooler temperatures in the far northeast. Churchill, Gillam, 13 degrees. This is a little below seasonal for you, but then there's other places who will still be up into those low 20s, and further to the west, you can expect those mid-20 temperatures as well. But again, the heavy smoke, it's going to be problematic all over again, and not just now through the northwestern part of the province, but parts of west central Manitoba as well. Further into the south, southwestern Manitoba, active storms by evening time. We could be seeing that activity overnight. Through the daytime, just some sunshine and some hot temperatures as well. So brace yourself for more of that heat, and then that potential for storm activity. Northwestern Ontario, you could be seeing some of that. So things will be continuing to be active tomorrow. After that, settles down a little bit with sunshine and seasonal temps through the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. A truck driver from New York has spent 2 decades creating something remarkable. Here's ABC's Danny New.
Show you another section of my miniature New York City that I built.
Over the past 2 weeks,
I'm carving the entire thing by hand.
Millions of people have been fascinated by a project that's taken more than 2 decades.
It doesn't seem like you want to stop, Joe.
I'm not. It's a lifelong project.
Joe Mackin here is a truck driver from Queens, and when he moved out to the suburbs, Joe began carving a ginormous wooden model of the New York City metropolitan area.
How many panels do you have?
350.
Whoa!
With more than 350 sections and almost 1 million buildings total, most of his masterpiece is in storage at this point. However, after a suggestion from his daughter,
I have downtown Manhattan set up again.
Joe has recently been taking pieces out to brandish on his newly created TikTok account. A commenter writes, one of the, if not the most impressive thing I've ever seen on social media.
People are really enjoying it, and I'm like in another world right now.
Well, the journey here started on Joe's first grade field trip to the Queens Museum, where they house a similar display referred to as the Panorama. When Joe saw it, he turned to a classmate.
And I said, I'm going to build one of these myself one day.
So in 2004, despite working 60 hours a week,
this is the Coney Island beach right here.
Joe began tinkering with balsa wood nightly, carving it with a precision knife and then gluing his skyscrapers to styrofoam.
And I wound up being here for 3 hours, sometimes falling asleep at the table.
Now, with his sudden newfound fame online,
that's Queens. That's Breezy Point, Queens.
Joe says he actually wants to start traveling around with the panels to show his creation to folks in person.
Can't imagine what they're going to say when they see it live. You know, they actually see it. I can't wait to see the faces on them. That's all I'm going to do is look at these people's faces.
Next up, Joe says he's going to add parts of Connecticut, Long Island, and New Jersey, specifically out to the Meadowlands, where his New York Jets play. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
A Canadian man is spreading magic after capturing something seemingly supernatural on his security camera. CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains.
Before he ever imagined seeing something magical, Steve Macbeth installed security cameras to be purely practical.
Able to see who's been wandering around your place. This cat visits pretty much every night. And
whenever the camera's triggered, Steve immediately gets a notification on his phone saying if it's a human or an animal.
All sorts of critters are constantly moving past it.
But there have been a couple times when the camera captured people.
The person that walked through the front yard had actually done some break-ins that same evening.
So when he got a similar notification the other night, Steve feared the worst.
And it said that it saw a person.
And what was the person doing?
Well, it wasn't a person.
And it wasn't one of the usual animals either.
It was unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It appeared in the left corner of the screen, a bright white dot that suddenly turned and flew straight at the camera.
Well, it looked kind of humanoid.
It looked, Steve thought, supernatural.
Like it was a shimmering silver color.
A fairy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
While that magical moment was quickly replaced by a mundane explanation, it was still wonderful.
I just thought that other people would have a kick out of it as well.
So Steve took the time to post the fairy video on his local community page.
The very first one was a guy that said a rolled up newspaper would take care of that.
But after that, more than a couple people mentioned Tinkerbell. Hundreds expressed their gratitude, and tens of thousands watched the magic unfold.
Just stunned with the response to this.
But even better is seeing this video of one of his granddaughters, Isabel, watching the fairy footage for the first time, in awe.
Always remember the time their goofy old granddad got himself on TV because of the fly that flew by his security camera.
Or they will never forget that time their couldn't-be-more wonderful granddad made the effort to make his world, if just for a moment, feel like magic.
Oh, just to look for things that are unusual in life. You never know where something like that is going to pop up and be a bit of fun.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Esquimalt.
A beautiful start to your Thursday morning. Here's a look at the Provencher Bridge. More news, weather, and traffic coming up. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Lots on the go today at CTV Morning Live. Folklorama is back, of course. Our Daniel Halmerson is live at the Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion. And then at 7:52, we're talking about the Filipino Street Festival that's been on for over a decade. Their parade that they usually have, they're still going to have it. It's just going to move indoors. Still a lot to cover. So check for that at 7:52. First, here's your headlines. Changes to Winnipeg home care spark backlash. Why the nurses union says that the system is failing. Plus tornado threats and giant hail in Manitoba. Could more wild weather be on the horizon? And life without the sun or snacks. Scientists find deep sea creatures that survive on pure chemistry. Oh. Outside, I know that Terry, you can't speak to all of the weather events, because a lot of us got it on our phone. We'll talk about that in the news hour. But
absolutely, yeah. No, coming up in the news, and you even saw that little glimpse of the funnel cloud forming. Spectacular images were captured around the province. And yes, you will have the full breakdown of that coming up in the news. I've got more of a look ahead of what we can expect through today, and we're waking up to beautiful conditions. It's 15 degrees right now. The sun is shining. The winds are light. They're out of the west, just 10 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, and the humidity is sitting at 97%. We are still dealing with heavy smoke through much of northern Manitoba, east central Manitoba, and now included in that west central Manitoba. And we too may see that smoke increasing through the day. We've got winds out of the north and then the northwest throughout the day today, so we may notice a bit more of that smoke moving in. Right now it's just on the clearer side, both of smoke and of clouds. There's not much happening at this time, but things will change. Now, in parts of the northeast, you can see some lingering precipitation. That'll kind of still do a bit of a wraparound effect, hanging on through parts of the northeast and east central Manitoba through the day. Here's evening time, and this looks angry. An intense storm could be moving in through parts of the southwest. So that begins in the evening time, but then overnight it passes through parts of the southeast. This will hang around through tomorrow, off and on, pushing into more of central Manitoba, but we're still going to see more of that activity kind of hanging around into Saturday, perhaps, starting to clear out then somewhat for the weekend, and those temperatures settling down slightly. But today, expect to feel the heat as we climb to a hot high of 29. And our art today is thanks to 6-year-old Nigel. Nigel, I love this, and I hope you keep coloring for us. And all of you, I would love to see what you've been working on as far as your art goes. So take pictures of it and email us to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks very much, Terry. The emergency alert system was activated on some mobile phones across the region late on Wednesday afternoon as a tornado-producing storm made its way through the province during the evening. Environment Canada says that it's received several reports of funnel clouds and golf ball-sized hail as the storm tracked near Dugald. Tornado warnings were issued in several municipalities on Wednesday, including the rural municipalities of Rockwood, St. Andrews, St. Clements, West and East St. Paul, along with the RM of Springfield. There were reports of up to golf ball-sized hail falling in Stonewall as well. Amateur storm chaser Corey Penner took this photo, saying that he saw the tornado touch down. He adds it only touched down for a couple of seconds, and there was likely little damage. Penner found himself in the storm while returning from chasing another storm in Saskatchewan.
It's tough to get to because the roads are really wet and muddy, but we got there. First we saw a wispy little tornado, then I saw another wispy tornado come down, very brief, and then we stopped, set up the real camera, and then that's where we got that nice thick tornado, which only lasted a couple seconds, and then it was done.
As of this morning, there are no storm-related watches or warnings in effect in Manitoba. Changes to home care services in Winnipeg were meant to improve client care, but Manitoba's Nurses Union says that it's done just the opposite, creating a mess for both clients and nurses. CTV's Danton Unger shows you why.
Eric DeShepper is still waiting for improvements to the home care system in Winnipeg, a system he says failed the love of his life.
I see the same systemic failures being repeated.
In February 2023, his partner Catherine Ellis died while battling stage 4 cancer. She had been waiting weeks for home care that only arrived days after her death. A 2023 review of her case found breakdowns in communication, policy, and procedure and highlighted gaps in the system that led to delays. Since then, DeShepper has been advocating for improvements, but so far, he says, little has been done.
What I would like to see, personally, is a collective and collaborative effort to resolve these systemic issues that have been plaguing the home and healthcare system for over a decade.
The Winnipeg Regional Health Authority tells CTV News earlier this year it implemented a key recommendation from the review, centralizing home care scheduling into one office. It says this changes to better align with the 24/7 operation of services and ensure continuity of care for clients. But the Manitoba Nurses Union says it's caused chaos.
We are in a mess. Clients are not receiving care. Families are upset, clients are upset, nurses are upset, and we need to get this sorted.
Union President Darlene Jackson says the change was made without consultation with frontline workers and is leading to a breakdown in communication between schedulers, home care workers, and clients.
We're seeing a lot of clients that are having, visits dropped, or there's no shows and they have no idea why.
In a statement to CTV News, the WRHA says while the implementation of the new scheduling system has faced some challenges, we are fully committed to improving the program and delivering the care that clients and their families, as well as staff, deserve. But for DeShepper, disappointed with the current system, he's written a letter to Manitoba's Health Minister, Uzoma Azagwara, urging them to take action.
I hope that this time my plea will be taken seriously.
A WRHA spokesperson tells CTV News 32 new scheduling clerks have been brought on, along with more staff and management resources. They added that the health authority is reviewing and updating processes and procedures that are not working for staff and clients. And they say that they're using overtime and agency staff to cover visits where required. Despite a call for government intervention, a Toronto faith leader and her 2 young daughters are set to be deported today.
The community is grieving. We are calling on the immigration minister now and the public safety minister to step in. This is the only thing that can be done now.
Reverend Rosalind Wanyeski says she came to Canada because she was forced to flee persecution in Nairobi. Over the last 5 years, she and her family have created a life in Toronto. Both their refugee claim and application for permanent residency under humanitarian and compassionate grounds have been denied. They're set to leave on a flight later this morning. A spokesperson for Canada Border Services Agency says that the agency carries out removals based on a risk management regimen. There are multiple steps built into the process to ensure procedural fairness, and the CBSA only actions a removal order once all legal avenues of recourse that can stay a removal have been exhausted. There is a pushback this morning on Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's reported plan for a full takeover of Gaza. Israel's military chief has reportedly warned against the move, saying that it's fully conquering Gaza would trap the military and put the remaining hostages at risk. They also said it would increase the burden on Israeli forces when the military is already suffering from burnout. Netanyahu is expected to urge a meeting of the security cabinet today to support the, quote, full conquest of the Strip. Donald Trump has announced Apple will be adding $100 billion to the company's previous pledge to spend $500 billion in the U.S. over 4 years.
Companies like Apple, they're coming home.
The move comes after Trump threatened tariffs on Apple earlier in the year. If it did not move iPhone manufacturing to the U.S., Trump also vowed to slap a 100% tariff on imported chips and semiconductors, but said that there's no charge if they're manufactured in the U.S. Scientists have discovered thriving communities of marine creatures in the depths of the Pacific Ocean.
Previously, people all believe the benthic fauna at the bottom of the trench, they need to rely on the organic matter sinking from the surface of the ocean, all the dead bodies from the surface ocean.
These creatures don't get their sustenance from eating organic matter. Instead, they turn chemicals into energy. They found that these chemosynthesis, based animal communities, which are mostly tube worms and clams during dives in the Northwest Pacific. Scientists are saying that these discoveries have been astonishing. We're getting a new look at the second part of the movie Wicked.
You're the only friend I ever had.
And I've had so many friends.
This new look video includes never-before-seen footage and what feels like the inside scoop on the film. It includes the actors and directors talking about the film Wicked for Good. It's the sequel to Wicked, which is released last year. It's due out in theaters in November. Taking a look at the current traffic situation along Aniston and Sterling Line. We are not aware of any traffic stalls or crashes, but let us know if you are. Daniel Halmerson once again joining us from Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion. Good morning.
Good morning, Ainsley. Good morning, Winnipeg. We're having a great morning here so far, learning about the culture and history of Ukraine. Now, before I get to what I'm going to talk about, we're here in the market where a lot of these items are either created or made and being sold by Ukrainian newcomers in our city. Now, coming up, we're going to learn a little bit more about this year's theme here at Spirit of Ukraine, Kohania, which is a look into the customs and traditions around courtship and marriage in Ukraine. And then, of course, pierogi and other wonderful Ukrainian food. Really looking forward to that at 7:42. Then we're going to learn how a Matonka, which is a traditional Ukrainian doll, is made. We'll actually have a demonstration right here on CTV Morning Live, and then we'll wrap things up at 8:38 with a little more dancing here. So stick around. We have plenty to show you and celebrate the Spirit of Ukraine.
Thank you so much. Outside, what a beautiful morning so far, it appears.
Yeah, you're telling me. I stepped outside with my sweater on and I was like, whew, don't need that no more. It's hanging on the railing behind me. Honestly, the sun, it is out in full force right now and still like right at eye level. So it's kind of blinding at this time, but it's starting to warm us up too. 16 degrees is where we're now sitting with west winds on the lighter side, just 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 97%. Those winds, you might notice them drawing in a little more smoke today. Environment Canada is warning of that possibility as the winds are out of the west this morning and then will be out of the northwest for later on today. today, and we have those heavy smoke warnings all throughout northern Manitoba, east central Manitoba, and now for west central Manitoba as well, and that possibility that we see more of that smoke increasing. All of that active weather from yesterday has for the most part moved on. There's still going to be a little bit of lingering shower activity in parts of the northeast today and east central Manitoba. And then another round of activity will be moving in this evening, and that'll be hitting parts of southwestern Manitoba. For evening time, it does look like there could be some pretty intense storms beginning, and that storm activity rolls through the south in the overnight hours, continuing through the day tomorrow and moving more through central and even parts of northern Manitoba through Friday. Another hot one, though, so brace yourself for the heat. 29 degrees is where we're headed today, putting us well above seasonal.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
When I do the live on locations, I have the best job in the world because I get to see all of Manitoba's hidden gems. We want to know what your favorite hidden gem in Manitoba is that everyone should visit at least once. Our question of the day has moved from Twitter, so we want you to text your answer now, please. The number is 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. It's Thursday, and that means it's time to meet our newest furry superstar. Everyone, say hello to River, a ragdoll kitten who's got the kind eyes that stop you in your tracks. Her human Charlene says that River is a total sweetheart, and we believe it. With that fluff and charm, how could she not be? River, you've officially been clawed to your way into our hearts. Congrats on being this week's Pet of the Week. Your pets have been stealing the spotlight. We want to say more. Send us your cutest pics and a little fun story about your pet to petoftheweek@ctv.ca. Catch us every Thursday morning from 6 to 9 on CTV Morning Live to see if your pet takes the crown. Here's a live look at Notre Dame Avenue. Okay, we'll see you soon. Good morning, it's 7:15. The Manitoba Métis Federation will not be attending a meeting today with the Prime Minister because of other groups invited.
National Council has only 2 members. It does not have legal standing in any capacity that have the right to be at that table.
Federation President David Chartrand says that he turned down the invitation to discuss the government's major projects legislation because the Métis Nation of Ontario was also invited. Other Métis groups and First Nations say that the communities represented by the Métis Nation of Ontario have no claim to Métis heritage. Prime Minister Mark Carney promised meetings with First Nations, Inuit and Métis after Indigenous leaders said that they were not consulted adequately on the major projects legislation. A move by Canada Post is upsetting some people in rural Ontario.
Whether it's to save time or money, I'm not sure, but it's not doing the workers nor the corporation any good.
David Carrier is one of the many residents who received a letter from Canada Post indicating delivery agents would no longer raise the flag on mailboxes when mail is delivered. It's a signal that's been used for decades, but the Crown Corporation says it was never being used properly. It writes in a statement that the flag is not meant to inform customers mail is in the mailbox, but says that the flag was actually intended as a way to let the carrier know there was outgoing mail. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are off to Calgary for the weekend, hoping for a second win in a row after a big of a losing skid. And the team will take the field with starting quarterback Zach Caleros.
Looking to throw again, far side intercepted. It's taken away by Vaughn.
The Bombers have had some tough luck against the Stamps this year. They've lost to Calgary twice already. The Stamps are the 3rd in the CFL's West Division, and Winnipeg is 4th. After missing a game, Calgary's #1 quarterback Vernon Adams Jr. will be taking the field. Bombers head coach Mike O'Shea says that Adams is a tough guy to put pressure on.
Vernon's probably more elusive, more athletic, right? He is certainly looking to make plays downfield also, like most good quarterbacks are, but he just seems to, his escapability is top notch. His understanding of where the defenders are coming from and how to elude them and keep the ball moving downfield is elite.
Saturday's kickoff in Calgary is at 6 o'clock. Here's a look at St. James Bridge. It's 7:18 right now. Outside of your usual, barricades, your orange cones, nothing to report right now.
CTV Morning Live traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
In entertainment news, he was the Prince of Darkness to so many, but only dad to a small group.
How cool is it having Ozzy as a dad?
Very cool. Jack Osbourne shared this tribute to his dad, the late Ozzy Osbourne. The video begins with a clip from 1997 on the Howard Stern Show. Jack said, quote, "I got to spend 14,501 days with that man, and I know what a blessing that is." Ozzy Osbourne died last month at the age of 76, with just weeks after Black Sabbath's farewell show. Academy Award winner Brennan Frasier is back with an unexpected connection.
I'm just an actor. I don't know how to help people.
What I'm offering here is a chance to play roles with real meaning.
The movie Rental Family follows an American actor played by Frasier who struggles to find purpose until he lands an unusual job in Japan. It will be premiering at the Toronto International Film Festival next month, but you'll be able to watch it in theaters on November 21st. Jennifer Aniston just dropped a new item for her hair care line, Lola V.
Oh, I'm joking. No, I just
You can now purchase the dry shampoo. According to her website, the Powder Perfect shampoo blends into every hair color and texture. Your primetime lineup kicks off at 8 with The Rookie, and E-Talk wraps up the night at 10:30, only on CTV. Yeah, in this business, Terry, I've got a dry shampoo right here that in commercial breaks, I just put it right to the roots.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah. Or the other trick that we never actually style the back of our head, which is why it's always sticking up, right? The front looks good.
I say it's like a Christmas tree. Back is none of my business.
See, fair enough, exactly. Until I turn to the side, and then people are like, your hair is sticking up. Oh, I forgot. I'm not supposed to turn to the side. Except for my job, I kind of need to. So let's get to the numbers, and then we'll see if the back of my head is sticking up, shall we? Looking right now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. It's very clear out there, very few clouds, plenty of sunshine. It's now finally started to rise above the buildings in the downtown area, and it's casting both light and warmth throughout the city. So we are starting to warm up. We were as cool as 15 last hour, but now we're sitting at 16 degrees here in Winnipeg. Pinawa joins us there. We've got 18 in the Morden-Winkler area, 19 for Sprague and in Kenora. Now it has been a little bit cooler off through southwestern Manitoba. Melita at the more seasonal 13 degrees, and just below that, Brandon, the coolest spot that we're seeing in the south, starting out at 12. Now, 12 is where Churchill is sitting right now, the coolest spot for northern Manitoba. Churchill isn't likely to make great gains today, staying on the cooler side, whereas everybody else through northern Manitoba will still be feeling those temperatures rising and still noticing that heavy smoke hanging around again. It's not just northern Manitoba, east central Manitoba as well, and now included in that west central Manitoba, and it looks like it's starting to move in between the lakes as well. So yes, that smoke is increasing, and Environment Canada is even warning that we could notice that smoke increasing here through southern Manitoba as well. But we're also going to notice the temperatures increasing, so brace yourself for a hot one today. Mercury will be on the rise, topping out at, or not topping out, but reaching seasonal temperatures by noontime today. 26 degrees being a normal high here in the south. For northern Manitoba, more in the low 20s by noontime, but pushing up into the mid 20s as we hit high 20s later on today. And then the potential for storms is there into the evening overnight. And things could get very active, especially beginning in the southwest this evening. Overnight and through tomorrow is when we're likely to see it here in the southeast, with the temperatures settling down a little bit to seasonal or maybe even slightly below seasonal for the weekend. We were talking about all of that active weather. We have a full breakdown in the news, but here's just a shot of one of those funnel clouds out in the Hazel Ridge area. Thanks to Luca for the photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. Big changes are coming to Aeroplan next year. Air Canada says it will reward the most frequent flyers. CTV's Pat Foran breaks down what it means for travelers.
Starting on January 1st, Aeroplan will overhaul the way its members earn points, and the biggest change means you'll earn based on how much you spend instead of how far you go. Phil McCulley is a frequent flyer and has been an Aeroplan member for the past 20 years. He's concerned business travelers buying more expensive tickets will see the greatest benefits.
But it absolutely benefits people who travel on the max fare class. So people who fly business everywhere are disproportionately benefiting from this program than people who travel, let's say, like a lower fare class.
The majority of our members are going to be better off than they were before.
Air Canada says the changes to the loyalty program will benefit those who engage with the airline and its partners the most. Starting in the new year, you'll earn 1 Aeroplan point per dollar spent. In 2 examples on Air Canada's website, it states if you book a flight between Toronto and Montreal with a base fare of $427, you'll earn 427 Aeroplan points. In another example, if you booked a round trip from Montreal to Paris and the base fare is $1,500, under the current plan you would receive almost 7,000 points, but under the new plan you'll receive 1,500 Aeroplan points. The more you pay, the more points you'll get.
It can't be seen as a positive, but it can't be seen as negative either. It really comes down to the individual, whether these changes are good for you or not.
Rewards Canada, a website that studies loyalty programs, says those who pay more for expensive flights will achieve elite status faster and rack up more points than those who are searching for bargains.
The more you spend with the airline, the more you're going to be rewarded, whether it's elite status or with points earning as well.
The changes are also more in line with other airlines that have also moved to revenue-based models. Pat Foran, CTV News.
It's that time of year, Manitoba. CTV and Chicken Chef want you to show off how you're soaking up the season. From concerts to getaways, whatever makes your summer magical, we want to see it. We've seen some amazing moments so far, and now it's your turn to shine. Show us your sunshine for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize, plus daily $50 Chicken Chef gift card giveaways. And that's not all. You could also snag an Akona Aruba stand-up paddleboard from Wilderness Supply. So grab your phone, share your summer with us today. And we're going to share some stuff from Folklorama. This is from the Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion. Stick with us. Maybe there's pierogies. I sure hope so. Folklorama's Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion is centered around a theme this year. It's about weddings, rituals, merriment. I'm embarrassed to admit, Daniel, that I have not been to a Ukrainian wedding, but you're going to fill us in this morning, aren't you?
I will, Ainsley. I haven't been to one either, which is great because I'm here with an expert. I'm here with Jessica Trainer, one of the ambassadors here at the Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion, and Jessica's going to explain a little bit more about Kohania, which is this year's theme. Good morning.
Good morning.
So kind of walk me through these displays here and kind of the importance of them in a Ukrainian wedding.
For sure. So this year's theme, of course, focuses around Ukrainian love and wedding traditions. So, of course, it starts off with a proposal. So, as you can see here, the groom's representatives would begin by presenting vodka or horilka to the bride's family. If the bride accepts, she will quickly wrap a rushnuk, which is this embroidered cloth over here around the right shoulder of the groom's best man. And if the parents accept the proposal, they will exchange korovai, which is this traditional wedding bread you can see here. But you might be wondering why he's holding a pumpkin right now.
And why is that?
This is what happens when you get rejected by the bride's family.
You heard it here first. Let's move on and take a look at some of these wreaths here from different regions of Ukraine, as I understand.
Exactly. So over here we have these traditional vinoks that are usually worn by different regional dancers or the bride after she's betrothed. So you can see here this is central region of Ukraine, so more of the grasslands or open plains of Ukraine. Over here is the svashka, which is typically used by the matchmaker who brings the couple together and is usually the entertainer for the wedding ceremony and teases the couple a little bit. And over here is Bukovanian region headpiece, which is more of a vertical design with feathers puffing out from it, as well as straight grass sometimes. And over here is, of course, our most eye-catching piece, which is our sun wreath. And as you can see here, all of the kind of plants are kind of representing the rays of the sun, which kind of symbolizes the bride as being the sun of the household.
Very, very cool. Thank you so much, Jessica. And coming up, we're going to try some delicious Ukrainian food.
That's awesome. Thank you, Danny.
Oh, Danny, proud owner of a pumpkin.
That's great.
I had no idea that meant you were rejected. That's kind of hilarious. We still love you, Danny. If you can hear us, we do not reject you. Put the pumpkin down. 16 degrees, west winds are just 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 97%. It is going to be a warm one today. Hot through the south, and then even slightly above seasonal through parts of northern Manitoba. The smoke still lingers, though, and will likely be moving into parts of the south as the day goes on. You can see the warnings all through the north and now central Manitoba, and the new warning has just popped up between the lakes. But even this morning, as of I'm not sure what time it was. It might have even been yesterday evening. West Central Manitoba started to be included. You remember yesterday it was just the east central part, but Environment Canada is warning that that smoke could increase here in the south as well, with the winds that are expected out of the west right now, but out of the northwest then later today. Not much happening on the satellite image. Clear conditions. Things are pretty calm, especially after all of that activity yesterday, but things could get a little more active again later on into the evening time. It's going to be hot. With the clouds increasing, 29 degrees is where we're headed today. I mentioned that wind, which might bring in some smoke, but then by evening time, southwestern Manitoba, that'll be the first to see some what looks like could be very active weather into the evening, and then overnight rolling through parts of the south, dropping down to 18 degrees. That's an above seasonal low, and 26 degrees, a normal daytime high, likely where we'll be tomorrow, but the showers or thunderstorms will continue through the day. Then it clears out somewhat for the weekend, mid-20 temperatures. That'll be lasting well through the middle of next week.
Thank you, Terry. Mounties have identified a suspect in a fatal shooting in western Manitoba last week and are asking for your help in tracking him down. 52-year-old Frank LaForge is wanted on charges of first-degree murder and attempted murder. He's described as 5 feet 8 inches tall and approximately 150 pounds with a bald head. He's believed to be in Yellowhead area of Manitoba, but also has connection to the Kamsack and Yorkton areas of Saskatchewan. If you see him, you're asked to call 911. It comes after 2 people were shot at a home on a First Nation southwest of Wasagaming on July 28th. A 33-year-old woman was killed and a 26-year-old man was injured, but has since been released from hospital. A Winnipeg family is making a big contribution to support thousands of northern Manitoba wildfire evacuees. The Asper Foundation is making a donation to MKO of $25,000 per week. MKO is helping to collect and distribute aid to the more than 19,000 evacuees registered with the Canadian Red Cross. 3,000 more evacuees are expected in Winnipeg in the coming days. MKO says that many people were forced to leave with no time to prepare, arriving without baby supplies, hygiene products, or even proper clothing. So Wednesday's announcement from the Asper Foundation is welcome news. MKO hopes that the donation will inspire others to follow suit. There's an urgent need for non-perishable food items, baby formula, diapers, strollers, carriers, new underclothing and hygiene products, along with blankets and toys and entertainment for children. Donations can be coordinated through MKO and its partner organizations. In Newfoundland, the new evacuation orders have been issued as wildfires continue to burn.
It is. I got the important things out. My family and my pets are all out, and the rest is insurable and replaceable.
Hundreds of people from several communities have been forced out due to the fire risk. Premier John Hogan says that an unknown number of structures have been destroyed on the eastern side of the province. The premier is also pleading with residents to obey a new ban on open fires, saying that the province is as dry as a tinderbox. Hogan says that he was disappointed and angry to hear that right on Tuesday night, hours after the ban came into effect. 3 campfires were reported in the St. John's area. Rain has brought little relief to the wildfire situation in Saskatchewan, and the province is hoping for help to stick around. About 300 Canadian Armed Forces members have been deployed to fight the fires in northern Saskatchewan, and the province's public safety agency has asked them to stay. As of Wednesday, 81 active wildfires were burning in the province, with only 7 considered contained. A murder suspect in Ontario has now been confirmed as one of the 3 people dead. 29-year-old Mitchell Gray had been wanted in connection with 3 deaths and arson at a home in Bracebridge, but police say now that he was one of the people found dead, dying of smoke inhalation. The other 2 victims were identified as 60-year-old Paul Gray and 59-year-old Anita Gray. The OPP says that investigators are still working to determine a motive. 2 climbers have been rescued after hanging out on their harnesses on BC's Yak Peak. Search and rescue crews were called in on Tuesday night after one of the climbers fell and injured their head. But poor weather forced the 2 helicopter rescue attempts to turn back. When skies eventually cleared, a final helicopter crew managed to bring both climbers to safety. Apple CEO Tim Cook joined Trump yesterday to announce a commitment by the tech company to increase its investment in U.S. manufacturing by an additional $100 billion.
Companies like Apple, they're coming home.
While meeting with Cook at the White House, Trump also threatened a 100% tariff on foreign-made computer chips. However, if companies are manufacturing them in the U.S., Trump said that there will be no charge. Police were led on a wild goose chase like no other, involving a 5-foot-long lizard named Goose. The water monitor lizard slipped out of his owner's window in Massachusetts last month and vanished into the forest. Police have been trying to track him down for weeks when he finally spotted in the roots of a tree. His tongue sticking right out. Goose is safe and sound, but now in the care of a reptile sanctuary, and his owner didn't have a proper permit. Here's a look now at Donald Street. The traffic situation looks good so far on your Thursday morning. CTV Morning WPG is where you can find us. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average stands at $1.37. The provincial and Winnipeg averages are $1.35. Lowest price in the city is $1.27. All this info can be found at gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
More on CTV Morning Live coming up. It's 16 degrees.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Here's a look outside. It's 16 degrees. It does seem to look a little bit off-ish, hazy somewhat, although we are dealing with pretty clear conditions. 24 kilometers visibility at this time. West winds are 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 97%. It's plenty sunny out there as well, so it's just perhaps that particular camera view. Now, some parts of the province, I wouldn't be surprised to be seeing that haze or straight up smoke. You can see how much of the map is now under that heavy smoke warning. All of northern Manitoba, most of central Manitoba now. And Environment Canada is warning that we'll likely see that smoke increasing through the day today. We're also going to notice the clouds increasing, although we're starting out on the clearer side. I was even doing some stargazing when I was on my way into work this morning, because the sun not even rising till 6:07 this morning and setting at 9 o'clock, or 9:01, I think. So yeah, certainly starting to get those shorter days. Not cooler days, not yet anyway, although for Churchill that will be the case. A cooler day for you, 13 degrees and perhaps some showers. And the showers or possible thunderstorms will be noticed through parts of northeastern Manitoba, whereas northwestern Manitoba, just the smoke is going to be the issue today. Mid-20 temperatures expected in this part of the province. And yes, that smoke is now being moving through parts of central Manitoba as well. Southwestern Manitoba, you're going to experience sunshine and hot temperatures for today, and then by evening time, it does look like some very active storms could be developing. That'll be 7 through 9 p.m. kind of hours, so do keep an eye on the sky for that. It was very active last night, and we don't want to be caught unaware. Southern Manitoba, lots of sunshine, hot temperatures expected. Again, the smoke will be an issue in areas just to the north of us through central Manitoba. Off to the east, the possibility of those showers or thunderstorms as well. For us, the storm activity will be overnight and through tomorrow, and then these temperatures settling just a couple degrees as we look ahead to the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. One of the best parts of covering Folklorama is getting to sample the food. Daniel Holmerson joins us now from Spirit of Ukraine. What's on the menu, Danny?
Well, a lot of old favorites and a couple things that people may not know about. I'm joined by Scott Gordon, who's the co-coordinator here at Spirit of Ukraine. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Every time, well, welcome.
Walk me through the menu here. Obviously, some favorites on the table.
Absolutely. We like to make a great atmosphere here. Educational, entertaining, and of course, delicious. So we always have the Vraniki halapche, better known to people as pierogies and cabbage rolls, borscht, the cabbage buns, kubasa, everything that you could ever want. And something that you may not know, pierogies do come with fruit fillings. So we got deep fried pierogies, strawberry, blueberry with some whipped cream for dessert.
And moving to the other side of the table here, we got a good array of beverages. What are we looking at?
Well, we want an authentic experience for everyone, so every year we make sure we import Ukrainian beer, wine, and vodka. So we have those available. And if you're not as adventurous, we do have Canadian craft beers that you can enjoy here from Lake of the Woods.
And we got to talk about the slushy drink here.
It's our signature drink every year. Purpur means flag. So you see here, yellow and blue represents the Ukrainian flag, so it's delicious and patriotic.
All right, let's give this one a try. And you said you could throw a shot of vodka in here and turn it into a Ukrainian daiquiri?
The kids love it, but the adults, we could definitely do that for you, no problem.
Right on. And talk to me about the importance in Ukrainian culture of sharing a meal together.
Just any family, of course, comes together over the dinner table, but Ukraine, the breadbasket of Europe, the bread and the food is so representative of the culture of how they survive and how they celebrate. There's different breads for different holidays and special occasions, and with the wedding theme, we do have wedding bread, so the food always relates back to everything.
Wonderful. And one of the best things about the pavilion here is that kitchen is open all night long, folks. So if you're coming to the 6:45 show or the 9:45, you can dig into a plate of pierogies, either regular or dessert ones, and take in a show here at Spirit of Ukraine.
I can't wait. Thank you, Danny. The Canada Strong Pass, allowing free entry into national parks, is bringing joy to many Canadians, but also creating challenges for those working there. Over the long weekend in Alberta, a national park had to divert traffic away, while Banff's mayor says that the volume of vehicles is not sustainable. CTV's Tyler Barrow has more.
Two things not hard to find in Banff in the summer: stunning peaks, swarms of people. Irina Kachun and Eor Mazurek recently moved to Toronto from Ukraine. They're taking advantage of the Canada Strong Pass that provides free access into national parks.
It's very cool that Parks Pass is free, so we decided to use it.
These two Calgarians are also partly here because of the free entry.
It's not much of a trek to come all the way out, and then now that you don't have to pay for it.
The pass was an election pitch by Prime Minister Mark Carney. It was a strategy to unite Canadians by encouraging domestic travel. The pass came into effect June 20th, and in Banff, it hasn't been seamless. Year to date, the town's traffic volume is up 6%. Recently, it recorded its second busiest day ever.
Cannot handle that volume of vehicles into the long term, so we need to continue to work with our provincial and federal partners to look at mass transit.
The town also points to Calgary and area's booming population, strong U.S. dollar, and the sentiment of Canadians wanting to vacation at home for the increase in traffic volume. Residents share the mayor's concern.
Getting out of town by car, like sometimes it's taken me like 20-30 minutes to get out of town.
It's too much. The reality, there's too much tourism that has to be monitored.
And over the long weekend, Waterton had to divert traffic away.
We want to be sure that we don't reach gridlock for safety reasons like in any other jurisdiction.
While parks try to handle the volume of vehicles, businesses are noticing the increase in volume.
The amount of local Canadian traffic has spiked very noticeably, especially day traffic.
The crowds will likely continue as the Canada Strong Pass will be good until September 2nd, the Tuesday after the Labor Day weekend. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Banff.
Hi everyone, Mark Rowe inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday. Before we go to Leagues Cup, Orlando City taking on Necaxa. Alex Freeman with the cross in. Martin Ojeda scores with an incredible one-touch volley. Ojeda with a perfect timing on that to get a wonderful touch for the goal. A fantastic finish. In fact, it's so good, it is your must-see moment from Wednesday. Tonight on TSN, we kick off Week 10 in the CFL. It's the Lions taking on the Tiger Cats. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. Central. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
TSN Must See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years. CTV Morning Live Weather is brought to you by Destination Dinner Stage, Manitoba's only musical dinner theater.
Just noticing how good my flowers are looking. They really sprung back, probably the best they've looked in a while, and maybe that has something to do with it. Check it out, 15 millimeters of rain. That fell yesterday. I dumped this out after that little bit of rain that fell the other morning, so it had been emptied and cleared, and that was just from those storms that passed through yesterday evening, which we've got the full breakdown of them in the news, pardon me. So yeah, they were pretty spectacular. And now it's the calm after the storm, but ahead of perhaps the next one, because tonight could get pretty active again. Anyway, let's talk about right now, because it's 16 degrees and sunny with west winds 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%, and very few clouds out here for now, but that will likely change. We'll see the clouds increasing through the day, and then the possibility of some storms into the evening overnight. Evening more so through southwestern Manitoba, and what they're showing on the Futurecast right now does look like they could be pretty angry and active, so that'll be more so into the evening, and then overnight passing through here in the south. Smoke is still a major issue across northern and now central Manitoba, and Environment Canada is even warning that we too could see smoke increasing through the day.
Today we're excited to spotlight one of Manitoba's most vibrant cultural celebrations, the Manitoba Filipino Street Festival. It's now in its 13th year, and it's grown to become one of the largest Filipino events in the province, bringing together community culture and celebration like no other. Joining us this morning is Lay Navarro, chairman of the festival, here to share more about all of the ongoings with this festival. So good morning, thanks for being here.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
13 years, wow, what a milestone.
13 years.
How has it evolved to what it is today?
Well, originally it was supposed to be a 1-year event, and that's it. But because of the success at 2012, so we decided to go on, and now we cannot stop. I'm 74 years old. I was 60 when we started.
You can't stop now. You can't stop now.
Yeah.
And the parade, that's something that you're doing differently this year, though. The parade itself will still be, of course, a parade, but the location's different. Tell us about that.
The last 12 years, we always close a street for the cultural parade. But this year, because we're back at the Maples and it's got a big ground, we decided, why spend the money on closing the street when we can use the money somewhere else? So we decided we're going to do it, and instead of 9 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Nice, just in time for dinner.
And fireworks.
And fireworks too.
Fireworks. We'll end the evening with fireworks.
Oh, that's awesome. When it comes to, let's get to the basics, just the ongoings of what people can expect if they haven't been. What happens?
Well, originally we started in 2012 with different Filipino organizations. You see, the Philippines is composed of 80 provinces. So the idea was for them to showcase how they celebrate their festivals in those provinces. Like if you Google Philippine festivals, there are over 1,000 festivals happening in the Philippines every year.
Oh, wow.
Yes, but then over the years, it has evolved to, like most of the original provincial groups that were participating before, I guess we outlived them. So now there are several groups now with members coming from different parts of the country. So we suggested to them, we encouraged them to adopt a festival. So it doesn't mean that, they come from this province, but they adapt how they celebrate. So right now we have a few groups like that.
Yeah.
And because we're not doing it on the street, then of course vehicles are not allowed, right? So now I guess we will be surprised how they will do with floats being pushed, being pulled. I don't know.
It seems like you're packing so much, not only people, but diverse culture into one festival. What are some cultural pieces, whether it be the attire, the music, or the food, that people can look out for?
Well, what has not changed is the cultural dances. There are over 1,000 cultural dances in the Philippines. So of course they try to adopt one and learn it. So this year we are presenting 9.
Okay.
9 different Filipino dance that you will not see in Folklorama or any other Filipino events.
I haven't had my lunch yet. What's on the menu?
Well, of course, there's the Filipino food, right? The street food. We have about 18 vendors that will, I guess, you know, whatever you want.
Perfect. And when is this happening before we're out of time?
This is August 16 and 17.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to have to get my hands on some of that street food and watch some of those dances. Thank you so much, Leigh.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
Coming up after the break, Folklorama is in full swing. The Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion might be your next stop. It's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy 67th birthday to Ellen Jean. Love from Tina and Les, Melody and her tribe, and all your family. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It will also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's Celebrate, brought to you by Party Stuff, 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca.
Good morning, Manitoba, and happy Thursday. The wildfire situation up north, well, it's the worst that the province has seen in over 30 years. So we're going to have Grand Chief Garrison Setti join us at 8:15 to talk about a donation that they've received and how things are going right now. First, here's a look at your headlines. Wicked weather. Which parts of southern Manitoba saw severe conditions, prompting automated alerts in late afternoon? To counter or not, Canada's premiers have different views on whether new U.S. tariffs should be directly reciprocated. And this hockey mascot's photo shoot in Alaskan wilderness gets a sudden dose of furry four-legged. I stuck around long enough just so I could see that video. How terrifying.
Right? But what I'm thinking, if the camera person had the ability before they freaked out, and to be fair, fight or flight mode, right?
No
I'd
doubt.
be hightailing it out of there and doing the laundry immediately. But if you had the, capacity to capture a little bit of that and be able to use it in whatever it is that they were going to be shooting, how incredible. I mean, that's $1 million footage right there.
For the views.
Oh. Yeah, right?
What's it like outside?
Okay, it's beautiful outside this morning. It does look like we're seeing more of that haze increasing, though. 16 degrees with winds out of the west, 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, the humidity sitting at 97%. Southern Manitoba not included in the heavy smoke warnings that central and northern Manitoba are under right now. But Environment Canada is saying that we might notice that smoke increasing. We've got west winds this morning that'll be shifting out of the northwest later today, and that could draw more of that smoke in. At the time being, it is on the clearer side, and the smoke nowhere near as prevalent as through the areas where that warning is in place. But just a heads up, it could get worse through the day. It's clear right now. We could, though, see the clouds building up through the day, and more than clouds, keeping an eye on some storms. This will be by evening time. Now, there will be a little bit of maybe lingering activity through parts of the northeast. That would just be some scattered showers, nothing that's going to amount to too much. This could amount to something, though. That storm is looking pretty nasty, moving into southwestern Manitoba for evening time. We'll see that rolling through in the overnight hours, so perhaps an early morning wake-up call if your alarm isn't already going off at 3 a.m. like ours is. But that could keep you up in the overnight hours, continuing through the day, pushing into more of central Manitoba, and still kind of doing another round into the evening time as well. Saturday, it lingers through parts of central Manitoba and starts to push up into the north, but for the weekend, it begins to clear out here in the south. Our art today is from Nigel, just 6 years old. Beautiful, Nigel, and thank you for this. And we'd love to see more of your art, so draw, color, or paint, and then email that picture to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. The emergency alert system was activated on some mobile phones across the region late Wednesday afternoon as a tornado-producing storm made its way through the province during the evening. Environment Canada says it's received several reports of funnel clouds and golf ball-sized hail as the storm tracked near Dugald. Tornado warnings were issued in several municipalities on Wednesday, including the rural municipalities of Rockwood, St. Andrews, St. Clements, West and East St. Paul, along with the RM of Springfield. There were reports of of up to golf ball-sized hail falling in Stonewall as well. Amateur storm chaser Corey Penner took this photo, saying that he saw the tornado touch down. He adds it only touched down for a couple of seconds and that there was likely little damage. Penner found himself in the storm while returning home from chasing another storm in Saskatchewan.
Get to because the roads were really wet and muddy, but we got there. First we saw a wispy little tornado, then I saw another wispy tornado come down, very brief, and then we stopped, set up the real camera, and then that's where we got that nice thick tornado, which only lasted a couple seconds, and then it was done.
As of this morning, there are no storm-related watches or warnings in effect in Manitoba. A move by Canada Post is upsetting some people in rural Ontario.
I'm not sure, but it's not doing the workers nor the corporation any good. The postman.
David Carrier is one of the many residents who received a letter from Canada Post indicating delivery agents would no longer raise the flag on the mailboxes when mail is delivered. It's a signal that's been used for decades, but the Crown Corporation says it was never being used properly. It writes in a statement that the flag is not meant to inform customers mail is in the mailbox, but says that the flag was actually intended as a way to let the carrier know that there was outgoing mail. Ontario's Premier Doug Ford has issued a warning for the renegotiation of the existing free trade deal with U.S. President Trump.
Coming at us hard. He is going to come at us with everything he has, and we have to make sure that we're ready.
Ford made the comments after the country's premiers and Prime Minister Mark Carney met virtually for the first time since Trump escalated his trade war with new tariffs. And there are some differences of opinion on how to approach the situation. Ford says that he's frustrated by the U.S. duties and is calling for more retaliatory tariffs. But Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe says he thinks Canada should dial down its countermeasures. Canada imposed a 25% tariff on some U.S. goods in February, but has not escalated its response beyond that. The NHL season is still 2 months away, but for one player and a mascot, the off-season has been pretty adventurous.
Got a bear.
Oh, I gotta break you off now.
Okay.
Hey, Sam, we got a bear. We gotta move down.
A close call for Seattle Kraken forward John Hayden and the team's blue-haired troll mascot, who were chased by a very real grizzly bear during a video shoot in Alaska. They made it out in one piece, just barely. Taking a look at the current traffic situation along Aniston Boulevard. Looks like a smooth drive. Any traffic tips or updates, send them to us, please. CTV Morning, WPG.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
It looks like you've been having heaps of fun this morning, Danny, at the Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion. Tell us about who you're chatting with now.
Absolutely. Well, Scott had to pull me away from that delicious platter of food a few minutes ago. Now we're back out in the concourse, the venue here. We're going to learn about Matonka dolls. It's an ancient craft here for people in Ukraine. Scott, tell us a little bit about the Matonka doll.
All right. Well, they may look like toys, but they're far from it. These are very ancient, 5,000 years old Ukrainian amulets that would be giving protective powers to the family based upon the situation. As you can see in our display case, there's very many different types. Ones that you would give to a bride on occasion of her wedding, a pair of couple that you would give to bride and groom. Obviously, the ones with the babies would be a gift to hopefully boost fertility, and such things as other ones where you have, grain from the harvest stuffed inside to hopefully get good fortune. The one with many arms is to give a booster on the household who wouldn't like to have a few extra arms to help around with some chores, and so on and so on. So these would be gifted to a loved one with the idea of hopefully very positive energy would then protect them in whatever endeavor they were going for. It is made by, you can see here our volunteer Sylvie Kozak is making one. It is never ever cut or sewn. The material is wound clockwise over and over and over again, and the thread is wound clockwise over and over. But you would never ever cut or sew or fasten it in any ways. And then once the doll's body is done, you would decorate it however you would see fit. This would always be done within one day. There's certain days of the week you would never do it for bad luck. And the design on the head is, the idea behind that is that you would not give the doll an actual face, so that would imply a soul within inside the doll.
There's so much tradition and culture at Spirit of Ukraine. It must be hard, omitting some things every year.
We do try and focus. That's why every year we have a new theme where we try and get a scope down where we can partake enough information to the people so you get entertained and educated about the culture. We love sharing aspects of our culture. And you see everything here reflected in the stage show, so it all ties together and everything's written up in the program. You follow the story along about the couple meeting and getting together.
Wonderful. Well, we'll have one last look at some of those performances coming up at 8:38.
Thanks, Jenny. Major turbulence looms for thousands of Air Canada passengers if a new contract is not reached in 9 days with its flight attendants. The union, representing 10,000 workers, says it has an overwhelming strike date from its members. CTV's Judy Trin with a look at how the issues, which have festered for a decade.
Abraham has booked a flight to Slovenia for a bike tour. He's scheduled to take off just as Air Canada's flight attendants are poised to strike.
Even if I was to actually try to rebook it now with either with Air Canada or with a competitor, say a European airline, the price would be at least 3 times as much.
Air Canada's 10-year contract with its 10,000 flight attendants is expiring. The union says flight attendants average 35 hours of unpaid work each month.
We're not paid anytime the aircraft is not in motion. So any of the pre-flight checks, mandatory safety briefings, all the required stuff that is done on the ground prior to pushback, as well as the deplaning process.
Being paid for your hours on the job, that I think is a no-brainer. I can't possibly understand why a company wouldn't do that.
Last year, Air Canada generated operating revenues of more than $22 billion. Thousands of passengers could be impacted if a deal is not reached by August 16th.
This will be a test for the Carney government to see whether they have the intestinal fortitude to let labor relations work its way through this process.
Passenger rights advocates say customers should not take action in advance.
If Air Canada cannot provide you with an alternate transportation on its own or partner airlines that departs within 48 hours of your original departure time, they have to buy you a ticket on a competitor. So by you buying a ticket in advance, you are letting Air Canada get off the hook.
In a statement, Air Canada says it's determined to reach a fair and equitable contract with its flight attendants. Both sides return to the bargaining table on Friday.
All right, we're looking now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. And yes, that haze does seem to be increasing. Environment Canada has warned to expect such a thing. We're also going to feel these temperatures increasing, and they're starting to do that already. Well, we went from 15 degrees to 16 last hour. We're now sitting at 18 here in Winnipeg, and we're even seeing those cooler temperatures through the southwest beginning to rise as well, with Brandon and Roblin now sitting at 14 degrees. You've passed the seasonal low of 13. Morton Winkler, 21 degrees right now, along with Kenora, and not far behind that, we've got Sprague sitting at 20. And then there's northern Manitoba, mid to high teens as well, just a little bit cooler in Churchill, and it will remain on the cooler side there today. There will be perhaps some precipitation moving through parts of northeastern Manitoba. That's kind of lingering from the storms that passed through yesterday. Still, you can welcome some rain because the smoke continues to be an issue through northern Manitoba. East central Manitoba was included in this yesterday, but now west central and, well, really all of central Manitoba. These warnings have increased, and as I said, we too could notice that smoke increasing through the day with the winds out of the west and then the northwest. Not much to see right now on the satellite image. It's clear, but it's going to be a warm one. Midday temperature is already at the seasonal 26 degrees, and for northern Manitoba, low 20s by midday, but pushing up into those mid to high 20s for us here in the south. And after that kind of heat, the potential for some storms, and that could be noticed in the southwest by evening time, here in the southeast more so overnight and through tomorrow. And then we'll see those temperatures settling slightly for the coming weekend and staying more in those mid-20s as we continue through next week. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
It's 8:15. An Alberta couple is spreading the word about live liver donation as they await a donor to save their toddler's life. CTV's Alessia Fieldberg met with the family.
Giggles and smiles continue despite all of the equipment hooked up to 18-month-old Colby. He has a rare genetic condition called Alagille syndrome, which impacts his liver, and he has been in the hospital for months.
Yeah, it's very hard.
He can't walk or stand right now and has to take several medications. Colby's doctor says he needs a liver transplant.
Oh, it would be the difference between life and death for him. The priority is to get an organ to make sure that, we can get Colby back on track.
It could come from someone deceased or a living donor who has a surgery to remove a piece of their liver.
The liver is like a worm. You can cut a piece off and it'll just regrow. But unfortunately for Colby, because of his genetic condition, his liver can't regenerate and repair itself.
It is a major surgery, so there are risks associated with it. But overall, the donors do very, very well.
While Colby remains in hospital, his family is trying to make the most of the time they can all spend together and hope they can find a matching donor soon.
It's been a struggle for the family. We have high hopes, and we're believing that things are going to change.
Having a donor transplant for Colby would be life-changing.
And not just for him. Colby's family and doctors say donors could change the lives of about a dozen children in the area that need liver transplants.
That huge impact that organ donation can have for the community and specifically for patients like Colby.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
According to the province's latest fire bulletin, over 1.5 million hectares have now burned, making this the worst wildfire season in more than 30 years. A provincial state of emergency remains in effect and could be extended as wildfires continue to burn across the north. In total, 165 wildfires are burning across Manitoba, well above the seasonal average. Joining me now is Grand Chief Garrison Setti of MKO, who's been working closely with First Nations communities affected by these fires. Good morning, Grand Chief. So, worse in 30 years, this is what we hear. Have you ever seen the situation this dire?
Personally, I have not, and this has been a harrowing experience for all of our people. It is very devastating, and it's a lot of trauma experience for our people, so it's unprecedented. And so we need to remain strong and hopeful that we can get through this.
Mm-hmm. And how are evacuees being supported right now? What's the biggest challenge been?
Well, the evacuation process is swifter because when there's only one emergency access out, the NCN and also Papunipu, and the range is very slow. Like, for example, in OPCN, they were using a 9-seater plane to evacuate 177 P2 people that have P2 visual process, and it's not ideal.
Mm-hmm. From what I understand, the Asper Foundation is making a donation to MKO of $25,000 per week. How impactful is a donation like that and others?
The donations have been coming in since the beginning, and it's nice to see like the entity like Asper reaching out to us, because those helped for those people are coming in, because a lot of them are coming in without anything but the clothes on their back, real financial resources to be able to help themselves to like hygiene projects and so forth.
Do you feel that these communities are being adequately supported?
I think that there's more support that is needed. It's still very devastating, especially when you have 1,200 people now and 600 at the Layla shelter. It's very difficult to be able to just the kind of service that they need, because they're in this kind of shelter, and it's not only with resources, but also like mental supports and also cultural supports. It's so essential at this time.
Okay. We're almost out of time, but can I get your reaction from some of the comments from U.S. politicians? Wab Kinew saying that they're attention-seeking after they've made complaints about the fire smoke down south.
No, it's just unnecessary to have those kind of conversations. People's lives are on the line here. We're trying to save people. We don't have time for that kind of politics.
Thank you so much for weighing in this morning remotely. We really appreciate this chat, Grand Chief.
Thank you.
Terry, in the city, the sun is up and it appears to be pretty pleasant.
Yes, but I'm noticing now this smoke moving in, and I was saying earlier, Environment Canada was warning of this very situation, and obviously it is far worse through parts of northern and central Manitoba. That's where the warnings are in place, but here in the south we have started to see it and smell it. I can notice that aroma now. Visibility was at 21 kilometers last hour. We're now down to 20 kilometers, which in the grand scheme of things is still very good. We have been as low as 3 kilometers when we've been under those heavy smoke warnings. So it's nowhere near as bad as that, but it is starting to deteriorate now. 18 degrees is where we're sitting with those winds out of the west. They're 13 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 90%. So the conditions are still fairly clear. I can see just a few clouds out here, but then again, that kind of grayish whitewash effect that haze has, as that will be increasing through the day today. And the temperatures will be on the rise. Expect to feel the heat here in the south especially, but even parts of northern Manitoba slightly above seasonal as you're pushing up into those mid-20 temps and then high 20s expected here in the south. We had some very active weather yesterday around supper time or just before. It was late afternoon. Today's activity will be pretty intense as well, it looks like, by what we're seeing on the Futurecast, but the timing might be just a little bit later on into the evening and beginning in the southwestern part of the province and then moving here through the southeast overnight. Yeah, this is the kind of weather that I was talking about with those funnel cloud sightings. This particular one in the Hazel Ridge area taken by Luca. Thanks for the photo and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas Shades.
This next story may just melt your heart during this hot summer weather. A young ice cream entrepreneur in PEI is serving up smiles with her sweet treats and dedication to dessert. CTV's Maria Sorrell has the scoop.
When customers ring the bell at Scooper's Dairy Bar, the pint-sized entrepreneur behind the counter
Hi, how can I help you?
is sometimes a surprise.
They think that I'm way older.
Roya Cooper, just 11 years old, runs the shop. Some cash she had saved up helped start it. A small business loan covered the rest.
I thought ice cream was really cool. I loved eating it, and I wanted to start my own business.
It's not her first enterprise. When she was 6, she made French books out of Post-it notes.
She sold those bad boys for $5 a piece to tourists. She loves money. Always has.
Roya's parents operate several businesses, including the Brudenell riding stables right next door.
It's unreal.
Super proud.
And she's so good at doing everything.
Scooping can get sticky, and Roya's last employee threw in the towel.
Too much cleaning for her.
So for now, she works 7 days a week. Most of the time, customers leave happy.
I love the ice cream, and the chocolate, of course, is my favorite.
But Roya has learned you can't please everyone.
Some are like, this ice cream scoop isn't so big. You have to redo it.
Her latest creation is nacho ice cream, which comes with a big scoop, sauce, sprinkles, and waffle chips. But her favorite flavor is peanut butter fudge crunch.
Roya says she wants to serve many more Sundays in the years to come. Her dream is that the business will grow with her. Maria Saru, CTV News, Brudenell, Prince Edward Island.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Two incredible women from Winnipeg's chemo-savvy Dragon Boat team just made history on the world stage. Gwen Vernon and Kathy Prusak were selected to join Team Canada's National Breast Cancer Dragon Boat team, representing our country at the World Championships in Germany. Breast cancer paddlers competed as an official division for the first time ever. After meeting their teammates for the first time in Germany, they helped Canada bring home multiple medals, including 6 golds and 2 silvers in the breast cancer category alone. They join me now. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Okay, so I'll start with you, Gwen. This was a very quick turnaround. How did it all happen?
Yes, so the Federation approved breast cancer as a division in December, and so we basically had 6 months to go through the selection process and gel as a crew, whereas the other divisions started 3 or 4 months earlier, so it was very fast.
And very specific to breast cancer survivors, how did that all come together, and why did it come together?
I guess breast cancer paddling has been around for 30 years, and there's been a push lately for it to be recognized more as an athletic pursuit, and that
dragon boat teams for breast cancer survivors are getting more athletic, if you will, and more competitive. And so the IDBF, or the International Federation, declared that we could be there. So it was a great opportunity for us to take that next step for all breast cancer survivors and move this to an athletic pursuit.
This far into the interview, and I haven't even congratulated you on your wins. How rude of me. Congratulations, number one.
Thank
and number
you.
two, take us back to Germany. What was that moment like?
I think my biggest takeaways were the opening ceremonies, all coming in as Team Canada. Typically, breast cancer teams are identified with, pink ribbons, but in this particular event, we were Team Canada. We were part of the entire team. So breast cancer was just part of our story. And then hearing "You are the world champions" when we got up on the podium, I think that was, and our anthem, being so proud.
I mentioned it's cold in here, but I think I got goosebumps from that statement. How powerful and how emotional too, because you've already overcome so much. So does that emotional piece kind of really channel in those moments?
It does, and it was interesting because there was a couple of women on my crew that had never paddled on a breast cancer team before, even though they had breast cancer. And it was interesting to hear their reaction to being on a breast cancer crew at the World Championships, and how for them it felt so much different than the elite crews that they had been on in the past. And so I thought that was a really interesting comment, that even though we were at the World Championships, there was some context that they connected with as breast cancer survivors. And when you heard "Oh Canada," there was goosebumps for me. I tell you, when we were standing there singing, I was singing my lungs out.
How could there not be?
Yeah.
Dragon boating. Why dragon boating? What do you like about it?
I think that it's full body, it tests your strength, it tests your cardio, but I think on the breast cancer level, it's the camaraderie and just the whole team atmosphere, and the fact that we are all working together in synchronicity towards one goal.
And well, speaking of goals, do you hope to go back? Do you hope to continue with this team? You've done it for the first time.
My goal initially getting into it was that I wanted Manitobans to have the opportunity to experience this at the grassroots level, if you will, the first time, and so that we understood what the process would be. So that my vision is that maybe I'll go to Hong Kong in 2 years, but I would really like to inspire other people on my team to take this next step and know that they can do something like this and represent Canada on the world stage.
How special. Thank you so much for being here, and congratulations on that win.
Thanks so
much. Yes, congratulations. Medals look good. You two should be very proud. We certainly are proud of you. And if you go to Hong Kong, we wish you the best, but you have already inspired so many. Okay, outside this morning is 18 degrees. Winds out of the west are 13 clicks. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 90% right now. That haze starting to increase here in the south. We are not under any heavy smoke warnings. However, much of the province is all through northern and central Manitoba. Areas off to the east under that advisory. But we're already noticing that air quality deteriorating here in Winnipeg and much of southern Manitoba as that smoke is being drawn in. We'll continue to see that happening with winds that are starting out of the west right now, but then shifting out of the northwest later on today. Not much to show you. I mean, aside from that haze, there's really not much going on, and you can contrast that to the very active weather from yesterday evening, or yesterday afternoon, I suppose it began. Your phones were blaring with all of those tornado warnings that certainly did amount to some, and we've been having the breakdown of that in the news. Well, tonight we could see more of that activity. I'm not saying we're going to get tornado warnings, but some very active storms look like they could be moving into southwestern Manitoba by evening time. Here in the southeast, it'll likely remain just hot and sunny through the daytime, but then overnight expect to have those storms kind of passing through. The chance of showers, maybe thunderstorms. 18 degrees expected as our low, so that will keep us above seasonal yet in the overnight hours. A normal daytime high would be 26 degrees, and that's probably where we'll be tomorrow, but that shower activity or thunderstorms could continue through the day. Then for the weekend, things settle down a little bit as far as the activity, but also as far as the temperatures go, dropping ever so slightly below the seasonal 26 and then settling back up into those mid-20s throughout the middle of next week.
Thanks, Terry. A Winnipeg family is making a big contribution to support thousands of northern Manitoba wildfire evacuees. The Asper Foundation is making a donation to MKO of $25,000 per week. MKO is helping to collect and distribute aid to more than 19,000 evacuees registered with the Canadian Red Cross. 3,000 more evacuees are expected in Winnipeg in the coming days. MKO says that many people were forced to leave with no time to prepare, arriving without baby supplies, hygiene products, or even proper clothing. So Wednesday's announcement from the Asper Foundation is welcome news. MKO hopes the donation will inspire others to follow suit. There's an urgent need for non-perishable food items and baby formula, diapers, strollers, and carriers. The Manitoba's Nurses Union says that changes to home care services meant to improve client care have done just the opposite, instead creating headaches for both clients and nurses.
We are in a mess. Clients are not receiving care. Families are upset. Clients are upset. Nurses are upset. And we need to get this sorted.
The Winnipeg Regional Health Authority implemented a new home care scheduling system earlier this year. It was in response to the death of Catherine Ellis in 2023. Ellis waited weeks for home care that never came. A case review found breakdowns in communication, policy, and procedure, and found gaps in the system which led to delays. However, Catherine's partner, Eric DeShepper, says that he's seen little change and fears systemic failures are being repeated.
What I would like to see, personally, is a collective and collaborative effort to resolve these systemic issues that have been plaguing the home and healthcare system for over a decade.
The Manitoba Nurses Union agrees. President Darlene Jackson says that WRHAS move to centralize home care scheduling was made without consultation with frontline workers, and it's leading to a breakdown in communication between schedulers, home care workers, and clients. The Winnipeg Regional Health Authority responds to the complaints. It says in a statement to CTV News, while the implementation of the new scheduling system has faced some challenges, we are fully committed to improving the program and delivering the care clients and their families as well as the staff deserve. A Canadian man is spreading magic after capturing some seemingly supernatural on his camera. CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains.
Before he ever imagined seeing something magical, Steve McBeth installed security cameras to be purely practical.
Able to see who's been wandering around your place. This cat visits pretty much every night. And
whenever the camera's triggered, Steve immediately gets a notification on his phone saying if it's a human or an animal.
All sorts of critters are constantly moving past it.
But there have been a couple times when the camera captured people.
The person that walked through the front yard had actually done some break-ins that same evening.
So when he got a similar notification the other night, Steve feared the worst.
And it said that it saw a person.
And what was the person doing?
Well, it wasn't a person.
And it wasn't one of the usual animals either.
It was unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It appeared in the left corner of the screen, a bright white dot that suddenly turned and flew straight at the camera.
Well, it looked kind of humanoid.
It looked, Steve thought, supernatural.
Like it was a shimmering silver color.
A fairy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
While that magical moment was quickly replaced by a mundane explanation, it was still wonderful.
I just thought that other people would have a kick out of it as well.
So Steve took the time to post the fairy video on his local community page.
The very first one was a guy that said a rolled-up newspaper would take care of that.
But after that, more than a couple people mentioned Tinkerbell. Hundreds expressed their gratitude, and tens of thousands watched the magic unfold.
Just stunned with the response to this.
But even better is seeing this video of one of his granddaughters, Isabel, watching the fairy footage for the first time, in awe.
Always remember the time their goofy old granddad got himself on TV because of the fly that flew by his security camera.
Or they will never forget that time their couldn't-be-more wonderful granddad made the effort to make his world, if just for a moment, feel like magic.
Oh, just to look for things that are unusual in life. You never know where something like that is going to pop up and be a bit of fun.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Esquimalt.
Another look at traffic along Portage and Polo Park. It is 8:37 a.m. Head to work. The commute's picking up. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average stands at $1.37. The provincial and Winnipeg averages are $1.35. The lowest price in the city is $1.27. All this info available at gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Time to check in with our question of the day. We asked you guys, what's your favorite hidden gem in Manitoba that everyone should visit at least once? Susan says, I love the Witch's Hut in Kildonan Park. It's really worth the visit. Marlene says it's St. Malo Grotto Park and Beach at Riding Mountain National Park. Brittany says Little Limestone Lake, about 500 kilometers north of Winnipeg on Highway 6. Thank you guys for your responses. Joining us once again from Folklorama is our Danny Holmerson. Good morning, Danny.
Good morning, Ainsley. We've had a wonderful time here at Spirit of Ukraine this morning, taking in the sights, sounds, and tasting some wonderful food. Joined once again by Scott Gordon, the co-coordinator here. Thanks for having us. And you've been around for more than a decade now. And I'm sure you see a lot of familiar faces. What brings people back every year?
Well, we try to put a very joyous atmosphere, very welcoming spirit where everyone can come and enjoy themselves. They find it very entertaining, very educational, very energetic, and they just enjoy themselves so much that they come back every year. And we have volunteers come back year after year, and they're always happy because we're putting on a wonderful show, but it's also something new every year. So different themes, different performances, brand new dances every year that Zolto's putting on that keeps them entertained.
And for someone who's never been to the Spirit of Ukraine Pavilion, a couple tips and tricks for them?
Well, you can get your tickets online at folklorama.ca, so that can let you skip the line, guaranteed entry. So you can go straight in when you come in, get the food, get the drinks, get your seat where you want. And of course, the kitchen's open all night, so you don't have to come at the busy 6:45 shows. You can come later and be able to enjoy a nice meal.
Wonderful. And we have one last performance behind us here from the dancers. So let's get out of the way and they can take the stage.
I'd be the guy in the back just clapping because I have no other skills.
I know, the athleticism it takes to do some of those dance moves. Honestly, yes, hats off to them for sure.
So cool.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about first the rain that fell last night. One last look at my rain gauge. Look at that, 15 millimeters that fell here on my rooftop. All right, so I'm going to dump that one out and get prepared to collect whatever comes tonight, because we likely will be seeing more of that. We're not seeing anything like that right now. Sunshine and smoke. I noticed that again, as soon as I stepped outside, you can smell the smoke moving in. It's 18 degrees right now with west winds 13 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 90%. Now, it's likely to be a hot and dry day today, so I've emptied that, but tonight we could begin to collect again. While the daytime, we're likely to remain hot and dry. By evening time, southwestern Manitoba, you're likely to start to see some storms. And according to our futurecast right now, they do look like there could be a lot of heavy activity regarding those storms. Now, overnight is when that will be moving through southeastern Manitoba, including us here in Winnipeg, and then continuing through the day off and on for tomorrow. Temperatures will start to settle down a little bit after this, but expect some heat for today and then some smoke. And while we're starting to see the haze moving in, that heavy smoke warning remains in place through northern and now all of central Manitoba as well. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Big changes are coming to Aeroplan next year. Air Canada says it will reward the most frequent flyers. CTV's Pat Foran breaks down what it means for travelers.
Starting on January 1st, Aeroplan will overhaul the way its members earn points, and the biggest change means you'll earn based on how much you spend instead of how far you go. Phil McCulley is a frequent flyer and has been an Aeroplan member for the past 20 years. He's concerned business travelers buying more expensive tickets will see the greatest benefits.
But it absolutely benefits people who travel on the max fare class. So people who fly business everywhere are disproportionately benefiting from this program than people who travel, let's say, like a lower fare class.
The majority of our members are going to be better off than they were before.
Air Canada says the changes to the loyalty program will benefit those who engage with the airline and its partners the most. Starting in the new year, you'll earn 1 Aeroplan point per dollar spent. In 2 examples on Air Canada's website, it states if you book a flight between Toronto and Montreal with a base fare of $427, you'll earn 427 Aeroplan points. In another example, if you booked a round trip from Montreal to Paris and the base fare is $1,500, under the current plan you would receive almost 7,000 points, but under the new plan you'll receive 1,500 Aeroplan points. The more you pay, the more points you'll get.
It can't be seen as a positive, but it can't be seen as negative either. It really comes down to the individual, whether these changes are good for you or not.
Rewards Canada, a website that studies loyalty programs, says those who pay more for expensive flights will achieve elite status faster and rack up more points than those who are searching for bargains.
The more you spend with the airline, the more you're going to be rewarded, whether it's elite status or with points earning as well.
The changes are also more in line with other airlines that have also moved to revenue-based models. Pat Foran, CTV News.
It's fun, it's free, and it's hopping back for its 55th year. The Frog Follys and Agricultural Fair is back in St. Pierre-Julie, offering a weekend of entertainment, family-friendly activities, live music, and of course, the National Frog Jumping Championships, the only one of its kind in Canada. Joining us now is Roxanne Gagne, Programming and Promotions Director.
Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Okay, for the folks who haven't been, myself included, and I'm sorry about that, I've got to go 55 years.
I'm horrified.
Tell us about it.
Okay, well, what can I say? It's been around for 55 years. It was kind of an event that was added on to the St. Pierre-Julie Agricultural Society's Fair because in 1970, the Queen was in Manitoba and she came for a tour during her Jubilee tour. And one of the stops on her tour was to come to St. Pierre-Julie to see a Francophone community. So the village back then decided that they had to throw a big event for the Queen coming to town, obviously. And that's where the idea of the St. Pierre-Julie Frog Follys was born.
So what is frog, because I did, pardon the silly question as well, because I have Googled frog jumping, but yeah. what is the, because it's of its kind too, so what is the Canadian frog jumping?
Okay, so the Canadian Frog Jumping, the National Canadian Frog Jumping Championship, it's a very complicated title. It is, of course, the only one of its kind in Manitoba, in Canada. There is another one that does exist in the United States. They use bullfrogs. The idea is that you've got frog jockeys that jump frogs to measure distance. They get 3 jumps per attempt, I guess, and whoever measures the longest distance wins a prize. And that's how, this is how it just has kind of developed into this thing in St. Pierre, where it's something really special and unique that belongs to us, and it's our branding, and it's what we're really all about. And I mean, everybody in my family, whether it be cousins or brother or, you know, nieces, nephews, we've all won one of the frog jumping competitions at one point in our life. It's something that belongs to us here in St. Pierre-Julie, so it's kind of a fun thing.
Mm-hmm. And great for families as well, rallying together. What else can people expect this year?
Oh my God, the programming is just unreal. We have really pulled out all the stops. Now, it's really great because we get a lot of funding locally from our local sponsors. They take on these sponsorships and they buy into the festival, which is this big community celebration. So everything is offered for free, and the quality of the entertainment is what it's all about. Like if you take a look at our Friday entertainment on the main stage, we've got Saklak, the Barn Boys, the Mulvey Street Maniacs. On Saturday, we've got the Incredibly Hip playing. In the evening, we've got a cornhole tournament. There's just so much. The Joe Creek Singers are on Sunday. We've got Dean Gunnarsson, the world's most renowned escape artist. He's going to be here on Sunday doing an incredible trick from what I understand, a crane. And that's all I can get into at this point, but I think it's going to be pretty exciting. And then for the kids, the entertainment is unreal throughout the day. So we're really, really hoping that we're going to get the influx of people who are staying in Manitoba, in Canada, locally. Come and see us this weekend. It's all free.
And with those deep French and Métis roots, I know that it originated because because of that. But how important is that identity to the festival and the community?
Well, I'm a local teacher. I work in the local French school, and our population in our school is 80% Métis. And it's really important that we continue to push towards this, the word in French is fierté, but it's to be proud of who we are as a society, as a community, and as a people, because the Métis people do exist. We are here. The foundation of Saint-Pierre-Joli and Otterburn and St. Malo and all the surrounding areas was strongly rooted in the Francophone Métis relationships. And so for us to bring people like Saklak to come in and show the jig, like the Barn Boys, who are mostly...
I'm so sorry.
No!
Okay, head to the website. It's happening this weekend.
Website, frogfollies.com. I could talk for hours, so good thing you cut me off. You too.
That'll be a fun event for sure. Yeah, we'll check out the website. We'll know what's going on out there. All right, what's going on outside? The smoke is moving in. We're sitting at 18 degrees right now with winds out of the west, 13 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 90%. I talked about this earlier before, how the smoke, it doesn't really dissipate, it just kind of moves around. And so you can see here on this smoke map, as it's moving into parts of central and now southern Manitoba, this is new, it's moving out of parts of northern Manitoba. So expect more of this to be increasing through the day, but also some sunshine and a whole lot of heat. Not much to show you here on the satellite image, but by tonight, things could change. Things could get a little bit active with some showers or thunderstorms, southwestern Manitoba by evening time, for us more so overnight, and then continuing through tomorrow. It'll be hot today and smoky, 29 degrees expected. Seasonal daytime highs are 26 degrees, so that's what we can expect tomorrow, and then slightly cooler, only slightly, a degree or two for the weekend, and staying then with those mid-20 temps as we look through the middle of next week. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Every generation has their slang that is unique to them, and Gen Alpha is no different.
Good.
Sigma.
Bad.
Skibbity.
Delusional.
Delulu.
Romantic.
Riz.
Not true.
Cap.
The greatest ever.
How did they come up with these words?
Well, skibbity. Skibbity.
Oh, brother. He's trying to learn the language while teaching all of us in the process. No cap.
I love it. I'm obsessed with this video. I'm going to be learning it, taking notes.
My roommate, my old roommate, used to be a teacher, and she would say, no cap, respectfully, gas. Okay, look at this furry family. What a cute little family of squirrels. Oh, that's the best way to take you guys into your Thursday.
I love AI.
It's like a warm hug. See ya.